Yeah, it's a camera setting where you can turn your teeth blue, and nobody else but you has the blue teeth. No, it's methylene blue, which I guess like is cell health, or what, you ever heard of the shit?
Yeah.
And you put it in your mouth, it turns you all blue. Dr. Cruz swears by it. He's a neuroscientist, whatever. I was like, why not? And I started taking the shit. I don't know if I noticed a difference consciously or not, but
you just like the way you look, like you
blew a Smurf. I look like I just ate a Smurf out, and so it's like that's what's up, man. But despite having a rough start, all right, Adam Butler. If you guys might know, OGs of the channel know Adam Butler by both our original interview and, of course, by his beard. If you're scrolling through the internet and you're interested in DMT, you have seen his beard before. It's impossible to miss. He's got baby birds hiding in his beard that he has to feed periodically, and they're all on DMT. And it's beautiful. And so before we get started, you guys know about Adam Butler's DMT Field Guide, which is a treasure trove despite its size. You can sit down with this puppy, take it anywhere, take it to the train station with you. But he also has a massive big dog right here that is fully illustrated. There's a love note in here to me. And this is his journeys, because Adam is about the freest man I've ever fucking known. And he's out here in the world doing stuff, saying things, and the wind has brought you in my direction. And I knew it was coming. It was not a surprise or anything, but I knew he was coming last night. He texted me. He said, "I'm in your front yard," and I went outside. His beard got here 5 minutes before he did, and then fucking I got to see you with my fucking actual non-virtual eyes.
In a big hug.
In a big fucking hug. And which gave me diarrhea, by the way. Your grip was so strong that I don't have to get a colonoscopy anymore. It like pushed all of that stuff out. And now I'm feeling healthy and good, man. I woke up this morning and he's on the back porch writing with what is this thing called? A pen? Mm. He's not typing. He was writing with a pen despite having a computer. And I asked him, in a monk-like manner, why do you write with the handheld pen, expecting, a profound answer? And he said, oh, my computer's charging. And that shit made my day, bro. So, dude, how the hell are you?
I'm fantastic. And the synchronistic winds that blew me to your couch, yeah, are just amazingly complex, beautiful, and I'm excited to be alive, excited to be here with you, and a long time coming for our own too.
Dude, the way that you described the way that you see now, I want to talk about your darkness retreat. 100 hours of darkness, fucking intense. But just recap for me real quick how you were talking about last night. You were like, it's gonna sound cheesy, but, and then you said the most profound shit I'd ever fucking heard in my life, dude. Like how you see the world now. How's that going?
It's going very well. I don't know if I can replicate exactly what we talked about, but it's so easy for me to really just feel out how I want to say it. And I think what you're mentioning is talking about the feeling of leaning into your own vibration and learning into what your core means. And I mentioned I'm writing an article about Through the Eyes of God and how a psychedelic perspective of that way can really give you such joy and contentment. And I say God with no specific religious context, with nothing other than just a higher, greater source that is part of this energetic matrix that we're around, that we can connect into. And I think if you see the world, try to see the world through that lens, you'll just appreciate all the beauty, all the love, and all the light that's around you. Right. Where if you're strictly in your egoic meat suit human, it's so easy to get bogged down and to focus on some of the dark shit where I think what you were referencing is now I truly, all I do is dance in the light, love, levity, and follow my inner core. And that does not mean that I don't have kicks in the dick, and that does not mean my life is perfect. I still have a big, big hole that I'm building myself out of. Yeah. But I went from being my own worst enemy to being my biggest asset, and from having the perspective of woe is me, I'm fucked, to wow is me, and I can do anything and everything with
Right.
humility and grace. But it's a different mindset to live through life, and
Yeah.
it's one that I want to share because it's not a story of
Yeah.
psychedelics or DMT or hey, let's blast off and you'll be fixed. It's
Right.
no,
No.
look in the mirror and give yourself the ability and the authority to say, I love you, I hear you, I see you, and oh, by the way, I'm fucking awesome.
I
And
would
say
almost
that to
say
yourself.
yes. Well, I'd almost say the permission
The permission,
to
right? Absolutely.
to see things, because looking at your photos here, it reminds me of what I need the most. Because let's say I'm on the beach where I'm supposed to be relaxing. Despite me being in the beach and watching the waves and stuff like that, I am in my brain going, okay, how much time until I'm sunburned? How long can I be permissibly here? I've got a documentary to make that's got to get done. It's got to be out by the 22nd or whatever. And then I'll be like, oh, no, it's the beach. And then I'll lock into the beach. And then I'll be like, man, Sully sold those seashells down by the seashore, didn't she? Man, that's hard to say. And then it compounds into whatever. But looking at like these flowers right here, dude, it through even just the camera, you can tell that you were with this mountain that day. You weren't saying, okay, these mountains are an obstacle. I have to get up and over so I can get to Joey's place. Right. You were like, I'm with these fucking mountains right now. And where was this, Colorado?
That is Zion. This is Northern California. So that's Eureka, California. That's the beach I lived on for 3 weeks. That was my smoke spot. So I literally walked down those stairs. That's where I smoked a joint for several weeks.
Yeah.
But that morning is morning I woke up in Zion, and I climbed up Angel's Landing, which anybody knows Angel's Landing. It's a hell of a hike. I did that on shrooms and DMT. And I probably wouldn't have had the balls to do it otherwise because it is
right.
steep. But
can I read this real quick? The darkness became my friend, my only friend, and then you have them spaced out like that. One of my favorite parts in here, dude, because it's called The Alchemist of Tears, which is it's a powerful story, dude. And so another thing that we were talking about last night reminded me, you were saying you didn't choose to go on this excursion like it chose you, and you didn't have a choice. You're like, this is the last thing I would be doing, but you ended up doing it, and now it's teaching you things you never could have taught yourself.
Yes. So if I could pull apart a couple of things that you started with about the what you took out of the message about being here now and being present, and you referenced about being on the beach and really just trying to fully be there and not worry about taxes, bills, and all the other shit. And I try to bullet point my personal experience with psychedelics, knowing that there's some major things, that universal truths that I think can apply, knowing that everybody's going to have their own subjective, unique kind of story.
Right.
But my big epiphany with psychedelics, and specifically with DMT, was after several months of working with shrooms, and that's how I got my kind of back into it around 40 years old. I had about 3 months of inner shadow work with shrooms, which was really helpful. It found the cracks in my psyche. It held a mirror to the areas that I needed to. It introduced me to the parts and aspects of my psyche and ego that I thought I needed to quiet and put in a corner. And I really realized, no, I need to welcome them out and let them say their piece.
Yeah. But
those several months of working with shrooms were really difficult because it was all just reflective inner work. When I say that DMT really is what saved my life, it's because that's what gave me the passion again to live, and the desire, and more importantly, the knowledge on how. And that knowledge on how was to of all that it ended with, the 50 hits and the 8 sessions and that whole big day that I talk about. It ended with the simple statement and feeling and experience of be here now. Truly, I know it's Ram Dass, and I know it's the name of a song by Harrison, but it really was, because in my case I was so focused on the anxiety and stress of the past and the future, and my life had been so great. How could I have fucked it up? And now what I'm going to do? I'm homeless. I have no job. I have no girlfriend. I've got nothing, and I was just fucking shattered. And it's all this chatter, and I had no place to put it. Where in that DMT moment, everything got blasted away, and I just had this, all you have is not only this minute, and not only this second, but like this microsecond, and that's all you have control over. Yeah. So that's what you control. And then 3.5, 4 years of living like that, of literally being present of every moment. So now you mentioned your experience at the beach. I'm always at the beach now. I'll try to be like poetic as I describe it, but I mean, I am truly there, not just with bare feet in the sand, but feeling the different coarseness of the different grains of sand, from this big to this big to this big to this big, to looking at the different colors, the shimmering, touching all of these rocks, putting my fingers deep into it, smelling the difference of the salt air as opposed to the fresh air, knowing when the wind changes, knowing that that's the seagull and that's the piping plover and that's the no, but I'm being serious. And then, oh, now I got a smell of fresh whatever, like maybe there's honeysuckle over here, or now there's the hot dog stand, and then you hear that laughter of the little kid, and then the beautiful woman, and it becomes an experience where you're like, for me, a 5-minute walk on the beach is me taking in truly like 10,000 data points, and then I remember them all.
This is like the opposite of tunnel vision.
Yes, it's expansive, and it's like a toroidal kind of field where it's self-imposing and political, because you're going out and seeing everything, and then you're bringing all that in internally with your senses. And then years and years of practicing that, you can see why I'm walking around in this blissed out smile and truly with goosebumps and a smile. And it's not because I'm just high on DMT all the time. I'm high on being alive. I'm high on that God, this universe gave me a second chance, and fuck that. I'm not going to squander a minute of it, including when I'm in a moment of pain, when I'm in a moment of sadness, when I'm in a moment of emotion that is unsettling, when I have to have a difficult conversation, or like truly when you stub your toe when you're in pain. Sit and be with it. And I no longer run from any aspect of my life, and I'm no longer running towards a goal or a dream or a set of money or book sales. I'm sitting right where the fuck I am, and the world and people and beautiful things are coming to me. And like I'm in the middle of a 2-week road trip, and I'm 7 or 8 days in, and every day has been fucking maxed out, 12 out of 10, hugging strangers, kissing babies, giving out books, meeting beautiful women, eating ice cream, having coffee, petting fucking Mr. Pickles. And if I was in my own head, I wouldn't be there for any of it. But now I'm here for all of it. And if I could follow up on, you said how that I didn't choose it, and that it was forced on me, because when we were talking, I got the implication that you were suggesting that I'm somehow, that it was strong of me or brave of me, or Adam, how did you,
that's what I thought.
How did you come to the cognitive stance that, hey, you're going to do all these hard things? Well, no, Joey. I fucking pussied out for as long as I could. I held on, scratching, clawing, screaming, being like, no. I don't want my rich white boy fucking lifestyle to be pulled away. I fought it tooth and nail to the point where I physically had nothing left, and I had to. And there were several moments that are documented in that that I truly sat in the middle of the fucking desert and realized, oh, I have nothing. So I didn't walk away from any of these things. They were taken away. I didn't choose to start a new garden in new barren soil. It was fucking burned to the ashes, and I had nothing left but to stop. So I want to clarify that, because it's not.
That's why it's called alchemy.
I'm so hard. I'm such a enlightened guy and follow my path. No, but for the grace of God, and but for the charity of my parents to support me financially and emotionally and be there for this 3-year journey where I'm still living in my parents' basement, again under the help of them, man, I wouldn't be here. And that's part of my happiness and bliss, where it's like, I'm not going to ever squander this second chance ever again.
This is like the epitome of being alive right now versus being alive for retirement, or being alive for the weekends. That's why so many people that I know are waiting for the weekend to finally live. And I remember that being, still is sometimes a part of my psyche, where it's like, oh, if I just got to make it to the weekend. Or it's like people on the job site be like, we're halfway to the weekend, whatever. And you're like, wait a second. If you back up and look at that statement, that's weird. Because you're wishing your life away. If some godlike figure was to be like, hey, how many days do you want to take off the end of your life? We're going to expedite this death thing. And you'd be like, oh, go ahead and brush off 5 weeks of that off. No, that's not a thing you would say. But we are saying that on the job site, literally, when we're saying, oh, I can't wait for the weekend. That literally means I want this chunk, this block of my life to be taken off of it and expedited. And it's like that, and people, they live like that, and that's their regular form. Whereas whenever, and again, it kind of comes down to alchemy there, whenever you lose everything to the point where your identity is affected. And this is where me and you bonded, I think, the first time, because it was during my divorce that I realized, because my whole identity was construction worker, family man. I got a dog. There's homework to be helped with, all this shit. You go get the groceries, and I was content. You know, maybe not thoroughly happy, but content. I would study the esoteric mysteries, whatever. But it was during my divorce that everything was gone. Not everything. I could still go
Your
somewhere.
foundations got shattered.
The foundation was shattered, and then your identity is not only threatened, but your identity is gone. All of a sudden, despite that being tragic, you find a moment to rebuild that identity instead of like grabbing onto it, trying to grip what's left of it. You can build yourself anew, and that's what I think so many people need to experience. But I would never wish it on anyone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, respond to that, but then I want to hear about this 100 Days of Darkness, dude.
Sure. Well, I think the first thing about you saying like how foolish it is to rush through the week to get to the weekend, and I think a real easy visualization of that is to consider going to like a Broadway play, and to show up and to be like, oh, I can't wait to get to the final scene.
Right.
I can't wait to see Phantom of the Opera where the end is there. It's like, oh no, you're gonna miss the fucking lantern crashing. You're gonna miss the build up crescendo of all the songs. You're gonna miss Christine.
Right.
Like, I mean, all of that beautiful shit. But then even more important with that analogy, the intermissions are just as important, because you got to stop and take a piss and shit, or you got to stop and smoke a joint, or do whatever you need to do.
Right.
The intermissions are amazingly important. The build up scenes that have the secondary characters where you're like, oh, I don't need to deal with fucking Jimmy from work. No, yes you do, because that's an important part of building up the theme and the plot and the narrative and the setting. And I think to be able to take a step back and look at life like that, not only to not rush it, but then to appreciate all the parts. So the orchestra is just as important as the actors, is just as important as the rigging guy, is just as important as the lighting guy, is just as important as the usher, is just as important as the little kid crying behind you, because they're all there to be right there. And that's massive. Another aspect of kind of living like that, and how I kind of word it, and I think it's another good visualization, is that in this healing space, or the psychedelic space, or people that are seeking altered states of consciousness, there's the desire to ascend from the 3D to the 5D, to get to this place and then stay there.
Right.
I say absolutely not. Go up there and learn your lessons, get refined, get enhanced, but it's to come back into this 3D world and be 1,000% content that your soul is where it needs to be. Not, wow, I wish I could be an eagle or a fucking bear, or I want to be a whale, or I want to ascend to my home planet, or even, to your point, I can't wait until I have more money, a new girlfriend, a hotter girlfriend, a faster car, a different title, as soon as I graduate, as soon as I get this, as soon as I have my PhD, as soon as my book's published. Fuck that. Like, all of that is going to be, you're waiting for something else, where if your soul can figure out a way to be truly content right here, right now, where it's at, not trying to be anything or anybody else at any point or any other time, that to me is the definition of heaven on earth. Right. That is what all of the esoteric teachings of all of the religions, from Buddhism to Taoism to Judaism to all of it, kind of, and they all go around the mountain the same way. But it's all, remove all the extra fluff, get rid of all the fucking shit, look within, be content within, and figure out being at peace with suffering, with loss, with all of that shit, and then it just all kind of becomes like, and then it's like, oh, it's all an illusion, right? It's all a game. It's all a, oh, I just have to remember my divine perfection. And I'm certainly not the first to come up with this or to experience it.
But
that's why this message is so important. I'm channeling the message of thousands of other people from thousands of years, but I'm putting it I'm delivering it from this gnarly, fucked up looking package. And you wholeheartedly, we're joking about like my beard and my image, but you know what? If that can be what gets me in the door, if that's what can initiate the conversation or make me recognizable,
Yes.
so that way then I can say, oh, do you realize how beautiful you are? Like,
right.
Joey, like, Julie, I see you, I hear you, I love you. Like, you're an amazing musician. You're an amazing podcaster. Like, I've seen you interact with your kids. Like, I don't know. Like, if that's what allows me to be in front of you is my fucking luck, then cool.
That's why, like, I love the contrast. Because I'm always in a buttoned up collared shirt, like some fucking prude or whatever like that, which is also, it's a dynamic that can be joked about and that can be seen as something funny. I'm a cat guy, for God's sakes. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a
for God's sakes.
You know, like I singing and poetry. I'm very feminine in nature, despite, you know, the construction or whatever. And I love the attributes of characteristics of people in general. And like whenever I saw you and your big smile in my yard, and it's a signature beard. You know, it's like it's got, that's the if you were a cartoon or whatever, that would be the attribute. And I love those kind of attributes or whatever. And I love the way you describe it as a way in the door, because it's memorable. It's not only memorable, but it's also it creates a character that the character's already there, but now the character has a substance to attach to in the world that is going to be like identifiable. And I wanted also, okay, I remember what I wanted to say about what I'm kind of learning from you is the be in the moment thing in general is does not mean don't make plans. It means to be present when you're making the plans, because this is what I do, man. I'm like, it's almost comical to say it. I'm going to live in the moment tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, but for right now, I've got this editing to do. I've got this writing to do. I've got to put out this short or whatever. So that moment, I'm going to get there whenever I get there. But it's difficult for, I'm kind of rammy with shit. You know, I'm always trying to like fucking like push to this next thing. But there are moments when I have these little, like I'll say Adam Butler moments where even if I'm like making a short and like putting things together, I'll have it's almost like a click where I'm not trying to get to an end point. I'm enjoying making the short for making the short. That's almost impossible for me, but I get glimpses of it sometimes. You described it as Broadway, going to see, because that a song, you know, I do play music or whatever, but if you're playing music, if you're playing a song, you're not trying to get to the end.
Right. Absolutely.
You're in
right,
that.
Or playing it quicker. Hey, let's play it at 1.25 so we can shorten it from 3.5 minutes to 3 minutes.
Right. There's no waste.
Or actually, with that analogy, unless, hey, let's do some funky remix EDM mix where we're gonna add some shit and let's speed it up 3x. Or let's do some trippy fucking slowed out like. So it's not, oh, you can't. Like, we always have to keep it original. It's just, what's the intention behind it? If it's to truly slow down life because you're so scared of time passing, or you want to speed it up because you just want to get through it, that's the issue. So it's just like your relationship with alcohol and money. What's your relationship to time? And what's your relationship to where you're at?
Time.
And you know, I do want to, if I could, comment about the concept of surrendering and succumbing to whatever that higher being, or just like, it comes off like I don't give a fuck, because I truly don't give a fuck about what happens to me, my life, my bank account, my body, my whatever. But that is way, way different from not having passion or goals or being driven. I've done more in the last couple of years of my life than I've done wherever. I've got 10 different projects going. I just started a nonprofit. I just published 3 books this year, and it's only fucking August.
Description.
Like, 3, yeah. Well, and the next one that's coming out, like, it just got published, but it'll be like on Amazon next week, is a book about the Dark Night of the Soul.
Oh,
and
shit.
It's called, Dark Night of the Soul, and it's a trifecta because it's me and 2 other women that are bringing our story to it to get to that same proverbial mountaintop. Yeah. But I say that I am so driven and so motivated, and still have it, and I'm still goal oriented, and I still have a dream board or whatever, and I still have a lot. Or even, you and I have been talking about my recent breakup and how I'm single and how I'm not yearning. Well, I am yearning for, but like how I'm open to whatever the world is going to put in my life as far as the next female or the next interaction. Now, I'm very passionate about that. I have a lot that I want to share. I have a lot that I want to do, and I'm very excited for if and when that happens. Now, if it's on when I leave here next week or next year or 10 years, that's where the surrendering comes in, because then I can just be present. I mean, when we leave and we go to this festival, if I'm going there being like, oh, if I don't find a woman, it's a fucking failure. Or if I don't get laid tonight before I leave St. Louis, oh fuck that, like that sucked. Where it's like, no, now I may get laid by 3 women tonight, and it'd be fucking great. Who knows? Because that is a goal of mine. I'll strive for it. But man, if the option is, well, you're just gonna have to go get ice cream. So what does that mean? I have ice cream by the Missouri River with my friends while I listen to live music.
Beautiful.
And there's a English bulldog that walks by and gives me the look.
Yeah.
Cool.
Gives you the
then
look.
Then cool. I guess
right.
I'm gonna be thinking about the English bulldog tonight. And
right.
that's the difference of surrendering and succumbing, where it doesn't stifle or stunt your goals or dreams or whatever.
Right.
And if anything, it expands them because you're open. And actually, I've got a buddy who does podcasting, Brandon Thomas, and his kind of tagline was always, whatever it was, or something better. And to give yourself, you know what? Let's whatever it may be. I want to go, and on my next book event, I want to sell 100 books or something better. Now, if I don't sell the 100 books, but I handshake 2 or 3 people that have a news program that'll get me on to whatever, or in my case, maybe there's somebody that has suicidal ideation, and for 45 minutes I connected with them, and then they left and they were like, oh, fuck, Adam, you said something that makes me now want to go hug my daughter and not off myself. Like, well, is that more important than me making $150 profit?
I think
so. Oh, fuck yes.
Right.
And that's where, but if I'm only open to selling the 100 books or only getting laid tonight, I'm going to miss out on, well, fuck, well, maybe I could just compliment that old lady on her hat, and that's what's going to trigger something, which will trigger. And
that's the meaning of fucking being alive right there. And I almost want to say no expectations, but that's the wrong thing to say.
No, I have major expectations.
Right.
I've amplified, but I don't, how the universe presents it to me, that's where I've stepped back.
Yes.
Because Adam Butler's plan has failed. Like, Adam Butler's plan A, B, C, D, up to M, D, D, like ZZ has failed. So now it's like, if I put now plan, keeping with that number, lettering, if I'm now on AAA, chances are that's probably going to fail again. So will AAB. So will AAC.
He's trying to get me into AA now.
No, but it's like, well, if I just follow the universe's plan, that always works.
Dude.
Without fail, that'll present itself. So how would I just do that now?
I think we both follow synchronicities now, almost by habit.
By habit, and because it's pleasurable. And perfect segue to how I wanted to say, like, it sounds like maybe living in this kind of like carefreeness is difficult. It is actually so easy because of the physiological response that happens in your body. So if you're in this fight or flight state, and you're in an emotional state of stress or anxiety or fear or apprehension, it feels like shit. You don't sleep well, you have a headache, like all of that. Where being at ease and being comfortable, your physiology is just, you breathe good. I don't get headaches. I sleep well. I'm in the best shape physically of my life. I have clear thoughts. I just and then probably more importantly, like, so what does all this mean practically? Like, so like integration. All right, so what the fuck? Like, how do you? It sounds good on paper to do all this, but how do you do it? And this is what I think maybe landed with you last night, was how I do it is I take everything out of my head. So this is not cerebral. This is not rational thought. This is not collection of data and processing. This is true visceral tuning valve vibration coherence. So, like, we were just playing music, which I played fucking bass guitar for the rest of the time. Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
I want to tell them this real quick. So this is how spontaneous, and I love this. Anytime I hand somebody an instrument who's never touched an instrument, they go, oh, no, because there is an expectation to be able to do something or anything or whatever. And I handed you the bass, and I was like, just with your thumb, slap the biggest string on there like it's a bongo or whatever. You're like, all right, yeah. And then you ended up, I was playing drums and you were playing bass. Like, you were picking it up as you were going. I put down a rhythm and you started playing the rhythm or whatever. And I'm not saying you were Les Claypool or Victor Wooten or anything like that.
But that was my first 30 seconds ever even holding that.
Right. But just having the courage of no expectations to be like, this is going to make a fuck ton of noise through a gigantic amp, and I'm open to whatever comes out of it, made it a powerful tribal type of a signature that came out of it. And we did that right before talking here, just to get the blood flowing, because you were. I was like, you want to see me play drums for a second? And you lit up. You were like, dude, let's get the blood flowing. Let's get the fucking adrenaline going before we go live. And I grabbed that bass, handed it to you. And then, I probably drove the neighbors crazy, but it was beautiful. Beautiful.
And so I want to say, and compliment you, and it is Amanda, correct?
Yes, man.
So you and your girlfriend provided me with the space to feel comfortable doing that.
Right.
Mr. Pickles provided me with the space for that. Even downstairs, like your son's bedroom provided me with the space to feel comfortable expressing myself.
Yeah.
And that's where, again, me feeling aligned. So if I felt off, I wouldn't be here. I'd be fucking out on the road already. If I felt something like it would be, if I felt you were judging me or I needed to be performative, fuck you, dude. I'm not being performative. Or you wanted to record me to bust my balls? No. You genuinely were like, dude, let's flow.
Yeah.
So I leaned into it. I went with my intuition, and it felt amazing. And that's, again, that's the layer of, you want to get high. It's not smoke DMT or smoke good weed. Yeah, those can be fun.
Right.
But get high on your own physiology, to have your cerebral spinal fluids flowing well, to have all of your chakras unlocked, to have the swirling of the masculine and the feminine. To, when you touch something up here, your toes fucking tingle. Like, that is full connection and cohesion.
Right.
And that is what gives me all of my learning, of all of my college education, that gives me some knowledge. But as far as wisdom on how to live, all I do is go with what is attuned. And it is really that simple. So when I'm humming good, it's a very clear, distinct feeling. I'm literally floating through the world. Now, if I get any type of angst, depression, sadness, or even, it could be a road rage thing, where it's just, all right, well then, take a moment. The one I'm writing that book with, wrote a book called Train Your Triggers. It's a beautiful book about just taking a moment to breathe and whatever. And it's just, anytime my physiology gets off, or anytime that harmonic resonant of my inner energy. So if I'm constantly, like, if this is my vibration, if it gets higher or low at any point, I stop, try to realize why, and then realign.
Right.
And you just keep realigning every day, all day. And now I'm doing that for days, weeks, months, and now 3.5, 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, my bumper wheels on that, to use like a bowl analogy, like Blaine thing, like my fucking bumper things, that those so narrow, where every ball I roll is a strike, because I can't waver, because as soon as I waver, I'm fucking out.
Yeah.
Like, and I tell people straight up, fuck you, I'm out. Like, I'm not talking to you anymore, get out of my fucking life, or I'm leaving, or I just have zero tolerance for my energetic fingerprint to be altered by any external event.
Right.
And I mentioned to you the other day that there's no pussy or paycheck that can sway me.
Yeah.
There's no man or woman. There's no amount of anything that will ever make me go out of my integrity or character. And I really think that's why my stories resonate. Not because I'm the best writer, or I've got the fanciest beard, or I've got whatever. It's because I've got the balls to say, oh no, this is my bubble, and fuck you, no one's coming in it unless I welcome you in it.
Right.
And if everybody did that, that's the message of, like, it's not let's all have our own enclosed bubble, because once you do that, you realize, oh, I get more by giving than taking. If I share my love and light, it amplifies and multiplies.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And that's really the big message.
This is like the difference between reacting and responding. The difference between running and realigning, where it's like people are, I think, afraid of discomfort, and they will avoid that discomfort. And people might think that a high vibration, or good vibes or whatever, is a matter of disconnecting yourself from the discomfort or pain. But what you're describing is more of really the opposite. It's more about, because you said that you take that moment, even in the little moments, even road rage or whatever it is, but even big moments where you take that moment and you're with it, you let it take over. And then by the time it takes over and you've surrendered to it, holy shit, you're like, now I'm back in control again. Whereas if you're pushing it off, it's almost like I'm gonna copy off this Buddhist dude who did this, and I seen this a while ago, and I wonder if I can kind of make this a decent analogy. Actually, I'm gonna use your beads here. So he went like this. He was like, this is just neutral, just hanging here, you know. If I push it away, it's gonna hit me in the face, right? Whereas if I try to like bring it into my face, like to really get a good look at it, oh shit, it goes away from you, which can be argued that's inertia or whatever. But like that's kind of the idea. Is if something's fucking neutral, and then you don't like it all of a sudden, and you try to push it away, it'll find its way back to you.
Sure.
This time with speed and acceleration. Whereas if you're like, okay, let me get a good look at this thing that I don't like, that's negative about me, and then as soon as you let go of it, it'll just accelerate in the opposite direction.
In direct proportion to the energetic volume of what you're saying. So if you really give a fuck, it's really going to give a fuck back. If you're like,
right.
And I think this is important too, as we study, just so not just, you know, on surface topics, but like even you being a musician and then studying like how people, you know, esoteric knowledge has been talking about frequencies forever. Just wavelengths will cancel each other out. The troughs and the valleys or whatever, they will like with, and that's noise canceling headphones.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
right.
Like there are ways of like working with the frequencies, and that applies to life too. Like the asshole at work can only get to you if you let the asshole at work get to you. If you match the asshole, like there's no asshole that I would ever work that could ever get to me. Not they could get to everybody else, but they're not going to get to me because I know how to cancel out that frequency.
Right.
Like
right.
what are you gonna make fun of me? I don't give a fuck. You're gonna try to beat me up? Nope. You're gonna try to take something away?
Nope.
It's all fucking lost. What are you gonna like? What are you possibly gonna do to fucking throw me off my game? And then I hate to say it, but like you mentally and verbally dismantle somebody like that to be like, dude, fucking check me. There's nothing you can fucking do to get at me. It's amazing how disarming that is for them, because then either one or two things happen. That holds a mirror to them where they get pissed off and they're like, they storm away, they're like, oh fuck, I'm gonna take my ball and go bully somebody else. Or they're like, ooh, wow, does that mean I can then finally be true and authentic, and I can let the guard down, and I don't need to be performative, and I can just be as I want? And then it's like, yes. And then it's just this easy dance of like, oh, where do we agree, where do we disagree? Not a like,
right.
You
can't throw shade at something that produces its own light.
No, and that was the big take, that one of the things you were saying last night about any profound kind of breakthroughs or whatever was that once you realize the light is coming from within, there's no angle that can throw shade at it, because it's a 365.
Right. A reaction often is like, and for example, let's say an asshole at work is people often instantly go into performative mode whenever there is somebody trying to undercut them in front of a boss figure or whatever, trying to get them to fail so that they can climb up their failure or whatever it is. And then we will go into performative mode, which exacerbates, like, you know, it brings it closer in. Whereas if we don't even have to do anything, we don't have to go into anything mode. And so if you very simply don't go into performative mode as a reaction, your problem is already solved. That's when I got my DMT book right there, and one of them, and inside there, at one point there's a chart, and I won't be able to find it as quickly as I want to, but I can summarize it. The chart was pretty much like external problem, internal problem, and then it said external solution, internal solution, and then there's like a crisscross. And the crisscross was important because I found through DMT, and not that it did, like you said, it doesn't do the work for you, but it shows you that the things that you need to work on or whatever. But I realized that if you are to solve the dilemma of what happens within according to a problem, the problem is solved externally, automatically, entangled. And it seems impossible, but
if you've done it 100 times, you're like, oh, this works.
Dude, right. There's no avoiding it at that point. And then if you, you take that realization and you, I guess, you might remember it. So like, that's what I need to work on is I'll remember it, but I'll remember it here. Oh yeah. And I'll remember it here. Oh yeah. But what I need to do is be able to walk with it and make that my vision, because I have trouble separate. So I see the world and it goes in and then it processes, but there's another step back that you can take where you can actually see that and your own processing.
Right.
And then when you're back here, when you see pain, you're like, oh, that human vessel is experiencing pain right now. And that just that observation alone disconnects you from the intimacy of such a dire situation that really, I mean, it's like no longer dire because you were there to experience that.
And that, that kind of step back from a higher self perspective not only helps you as an individual navigate your life and your challenges and how to best approach it all,
Right.
but it also gives you a better perspective on how to see others, because it's not like, well, I don't know, you see a mom yelling at her kids and you're like, oh well, she must be a bitch mom. It's like,
Right.
well, you don't know.
Right.
No.
Right.
Take a step back. You have no idea what happened that morning. Where's dad? Where's
Right.
whatever, what her situation is. And so from all of us to be able to take a step back, it helps us. But I do want to comment too about when we talk about like surrendering and succumbing, but then also how we talked about not letting assholes affect you, and how, as I walk through the world, I do float and I do navigate and I do move. But I do want to explicitly state, and I said this as such, about naming the aspects of our ego.
Mm-hmm.
And I have an aspect called Hulk Adam. And Hulk Adam almost, well, you laughed, dude.
No, I know I did.
Hulk Adam almost killed me.
That's not a
Like,
laughter. That's an
it's
identification with something that I understand.
It's
Right.
fucking, it's powerful. And it's like, that Hulk Adam, if and when you see it, it's going to be like, oh fuck, like, I didn't even know that was there. But it's not, oh, I killed Hulk Adam and he's never coming back.
Right.
And I put the word here, like, that does not mean pussification.
Right.
Like when we talk about like not getting triggered by the asshole, and don't stand up to the asshole of the guy at work. This is not castrating your balls, it's swelling them.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally being like, no, I've got this. So that Hulk aspect of myself, and we mentioned it, if we go to this festival and shit hits the fan, who knows, like something happens. I want, when everybody else is running, that Hulk Adam's going to be running towards that fucking whatever the fuck has to happen.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, no, I have control of it though. Where before, like that, and anybody that knows my story knows that I threatened to kill a man over $900. Now, what the fuck are you doing threatening to kill a man over $900? Like, really, it was. But I lost everything because of that. I lost a job where I was making well over $200,000 a year for doing nothing. I literally I smiled and I would make $30,000 in a day.
Right.
For
But
fucking
Hulk,
doing nothing, and I lost it all because Hulk came through and was like, oh yeah, you're gonna fucking challenge me,
right. Whereas why not let go of that? And if somebody needs it that fucking bad,
and it was some little fucking twerp that like, and then I ended up getting the $900 back because the real owner of the company was just like, yeah, you're a douche, like no, here's your $900.
Yeah.
So it all could have happened in a different way.
Yeah.
If I just channeled it, but
yeah,
it's
and
just
that
being able to
not react to it but respond.
Exactly, and that's it. And then to be able to put yourself in the big picture kind of thing, to be like, anytime Adam Butler gets butt hurt, what, you're gonna fucking snap? It's like, no.
Right. Well, I think what you're describing reminds me of a couple things, and it's like, okay, when Jesus said the meek will inherit earth, people sometimes assume that means a chihuahua or a bunny.
Meek, yeah, that's not.
No, the word in the original Greek is closer to a man who keeps his sword sheathed. That doesn't mean he's got a sword. It's in the sheath.
The warrior in the garden type of
right. So yeah, you can pull out a little bit of Hulk Adam every now and then, but it's in a sheath, and you can show it a little bit. Or if there's a you said this is a burning building, then you can use Hulk Adam to overcome any fear of flames to save the baby.
And I have the strength to climb 3 stories. Like, and I'm not saying that in a bragging way.
Right.
But like I can do
you don't feel it.
30 pull-ups in a row, which means I can pull myself up with fucking.
Right.
Like that's where you want to see me fucking Spider-Man it. Like, oh shit.
Right.
But I will, and I won't say I will, but like, I mean, that's where I'm comfortable. Where it's not like, well, no, I'm love and light. Like, I gotta sit here and I'll pray for them. Like, no. Like, when it's time for action, it's time for fucking action, and that's where it's different.
And it's controlled. The monster's on a leash. You ever seen?
So the monster's on a leash, and what's presenting itself is the happy, lovable, come give me a hug. Even though we talked about the dichotomy in my peacock look, but it really is. Yeah, keep the fucking tough guy or the Hulk aside, and present yourself with the loving embrace, because
Yeah.
that's truly what I am. I am the warm softie. I am the fucking mama's boy who
Right.
wants to fucking love and I mean, I am the guy that cries emotionally because I'm a cancer and I fucking.
Right.
What am
Right.
I gonna avoid that? No, I lean into that.
Right. Whenever.
But don't fucking piss me off, because then smoke will come out and.
Right. There's an allegory of the buffalo that runs into the storm. Have you heard this one at all?
To get through it instead of freaking.
Right. So, and this is I don't even know if it's an allegory, but yeah, a buffalo sees a storm coming, and all of the other animals run away from it, and the storm catches up, and now they're running in the storm. They die. The buffalo goes into the storm, and it passes over them. You know.
Great in that, yeah. And not an analogy. True. That's a survival technique that works from dying.
Yeah.
Don't die.
Right.
Go through the storm.
Go through the storm.
Don't wallow in it.
Right.
But with that analogy, so how many people wallow in their own self-depression, or in my case, wallow in alcoholism, wallow in prescription pills, wallow in self-denial, wallow in a shitty relationship? I personally didn't do prescription pills. No, so that's actually one thing I've never been on any. Though I was saying that as like a relationship.
Yeah, I get it.
Like,
Right.
For me, I wallowed in avoidance of my, just whatever. Like I was just running from shit. But you actually, what was my thing, and it was alcohol. But I think it's important too to stress, alcohol is not an issue. Money is an issue. Sex is not the issue. It's your relationship to all those things.
Right.
And I had unhealthy relationships to all three of those aspects.
Yeah.
And I'm still, be perfectly honest with you. My addiction to alcohol is now addiction to freaking coffee and ice cream.
Sure.
Like my addiction with money went from having millions and having a shit ton to now being broke, living in my parents' basement. My issue with women was fuck 30 times a week to multiple women, to now I'm celibate for 4 months. So it's like, I'm still figuring it out. But what we discussed earlier is I'm not stressed about any one of those positions
right.
like that. I'm really not. And I think it's proof on how I conduct myself. Like I'm not, like, hopefully you've got no desire of anxiety or tension from me. If anything, every time we talked, I was like, dude, I'm here to make your weekend calm. I'll go at your schedule. I'm fluid and dynamic. I'm 100% self-contained. I don't need anything from you other than what works for you.
I'll be honest with you. And I was whenever you first came in, I told you right off the bat that I was having a rough week. There was external circumstances that were eating away at me. And I'll be honest with you, dude, probably within 5 minutes of us chatting, that was dissipant. It was like, there you have an energy of allowance to where you're like fucking, without saying it, you're like, lay it on me. Fucking
with no judgment either, right?
No,
but not only no judgment of you, but no judgment of her or of your ex or of the ex's ex, or that, like, like fucking.
But you made a space to be able to not only let it fly, but also to feel the vibe of to even be in the moment of expressing disdain is a loving joy type thing. And that's not only is that a brick wall with a lot of people, but actually it becomes a reflective thing with a lot of people where their empathy will amplify something like that, and then it becomes like a drama. You have a catharsis with it where you can tune energy anywhere it seems like anywhere you seem to go. Alchemize it.
Alchemize and transmute. Don't block and stop.
Right.
Alchemize and transmute and redirect.
That's it, dude. And you do that.
Because imagine if I came here and was just like, what the fuck, man? I've been on the road I don't want to hear your shit.
Right.
Or whatever. I came in because I want to, whatever. Like, this isn't what I'm talking. Like, imagine if I came in and had, like, commoded you with, hey, this is about me and not about it. Like,
there
would
are
have
those.
sucked. It would have been, you probably would have been like, well, then get the fuck out of my house. And I would have been like, what the hell did I just drive to freaking half across the country for?
But that's like, it's become almost your motto to be that person that's welcoming. And because I can see, out there, because we're going to Main Street, St. Charles or whatever, and we're not just there to experience the exhibits, we're there to mingle with the community.
And I already have friends to show you. Like, I already have like 3 or 4 stands that I want to bring you to be like, oh, these are my friends.
Right.
And there's a Jamaican food stand where I have brisket tacos, and they have, dude. And then there's a lady that makes fresh juice, so I had her mix coconut and pineapple together. And like, these are things where it's like, now even that, like, who the hell as a single guy walks through this event? Like, I made a lot of friends.
Right.
Like, and I don't know. Again, I used to think like living like this was corny, but it's not, because I feel like I'm leaving a wake of, and
Yeah.
You know how many babies or parents I said to babies something like how beautiful your baby is, or your baby. And I used to feel awkward to be like, are people going to take you the wrong way, looking like you, commenting on how cute their baby is, but when they see the sparkle in my eye, when they see me actually tear up when I'm saying your baby looks like a little angel, and my quiver in my voice means, oh fuck, like he's not saying this because I'm trying to fuck the mom, or I'm trying to like. So no dad's ever like, don't talk to them. Like they're all like, wow, thank you, because it lands because it's real.
That I think that probably works a lot better than my line. Is what I often say is, hey, you got a daddy to go with that baby, and that it's a. But no, there is nothing that brings you to center like a fucking baby, dude. Like
unless you're like this, or unless you're either like this or you're like this so much that you don't see it,
dude.
Where I seek them out, where it's like, look at that little freaking egghead,
dude.
Fuck yeah, I think I literally walk to them.
Right. That's it. They're people who aren't ruined yet.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. I got a couple friends who are my younger friends, Michael, and hopefully coming up here, Jay. But Michael's he has this friend of mine. He has babies, and I mean, he has a baby every 4 years, and I'm like, I keep him close to me because I'm like, dude, Mike, I need a fresh batch of like and someone out there's gonna take that the wrong way, but dude, I get on the floor with a baby and a couple of blocks or whatever, and just roll around, make the baby laugh. If you can make a baby laugh, your soul literally grows. It becomes like something else. There's something to it, man.
And the little egghead.
Hey,
look, and I just
look at that, buddy. Yeah,
that's my boy Sean Jr. So a beautiful, and I have the light, right? Because I mean the light and the light and the light and the light. Right. But this little boy was a sponge for me for when I was going through the darkest of the dark of the dark. This little boy, and I never got a hug from him that I didn't ask for, and that's been kind of our cool thing. May I please have a hug? And this little dude gives me the longest embraces, and it's a full on. And since before he's been able to stand, he has been a sponge for me to, release some of my shit, but then recharge. And then I showed you the picture of those two beautiful kids. Oh no, I'm sorry, it was Amanda that I was showing, that I went and made beads with. This little girl that I just met. She grabbed my arm like 12 times, and she's just looking at me, and this little peanut going, I just love you. And she even said at one point, she goes, I don't know why, but I just love you. And I'm looking at her being like, well, I love you. And I know, like, and then the little brother, I went and wrote made a picture for me with me, so a bald guy with a beard, and this little dude, and I'm saying, I love you on the top. And then he comes and he's looking at me, and he's like 2 years older. And I'm sitting there with these two kids that I just met, but they know I love their mom. And again, I love her mom, not trying to bang her, not trying to get in her pants. Like, as a friend, like, I love this woman like a sister. And the kids picked up on that. So they knew I wasn't some scumbag. We were talking about her boyfriend in a loving way. We made him a bracelet. Like, so they were like, oh, this guy's a safe space. And, man, I left there, and I've sent her multiple texts saying such that, I go there to try to help people, and I know my message lands, but it's so humbling to be like, oh wow, I thought I was going there to give love and light, and I did to her, but then those little kids charged me up 10x. So I left X, they gave me 10x, and I was just like, wow.
That's what happens whenever you go with
what a recharge
with like good intentions. Is they come back, it fucking recycles
so much. Including like you and I, or you helping that guy Eric who wrote that book, or you, like this book right here, right? Saying, like, if you like him, he likes you, you're a fan of his work. I'm like, why not help each other, collaborate and expand without? Well, if you do this, I'll do this, or it's just like, well, no, man, like let's be human to human and just help each other.
Well, Eric is a brilliant dude, and this is something that we've been talking about between us, but he doesn't know what to do on the internet. And I was in the same exact boat, but it took me. And most people don't know this, but I don't know about electronics and internet and apps and shit like that. I forced myself to figure it out. I had to, if this was going to become something that worked full time. And so he wrote a brilliant book. I read the motherfucker. I'm going to be talking about it soon in the documentary. But he's like, I want to make shorts. I don't know where to start. And I filmed myself making a short, or how to distribute a short or whatever, and sent it to him. And that's going to be a game changer for him, because what I showed him in that video that you recorded of me for him took me about 2 years to figure out all
we
of that
recorded
shit.
it in 3 minutes.
Right.
And you just helped him.
There's no instruction manual on, because it's different for everybody, but I saw how it was for him and applied it in that way. And now with me and you, there's no, we're not only yin and yang when it comes to what we're wearing and our like, you're covered in artwork, which is, by the way, that the little girl was probably fascinated by it. You know, it got Tool tattooed and everything. But like, you are a traveler. You're networking. You're bringing people in. You've got emails coming in and going out, and you're making business deals or whatever. I am like, that's fascinating to me because I can't make my brain do that. While at the same time, you're looking across the street at me and saying, I don't know how he does that stuff.
Hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Yeah.
Right,
what
right.
the fuck? That's like.
But you're and you're telling me, you're like, you can. This is a perfect avenue for you to be able to expand the network. And I'm looking at you. I'm like, damn, this is the perfect avenue to be able to expand and fucking whatever.
Which is why we're gonna collaborate.
That's
on whatever it may, maybe it's events, maybe it's talking things, maybe it's our OnlyFans. Fucking that what we talk about.
Your OnlyFans is coming out soon, right?
It is,
right. It's on the Instagram right now, but
the
can I tell them that real quick? Right. Hey guys, go to Adam's, go to his Instagram if you want to see his dick getting tattooed. Well, I'll leave it there.
Yeah. Thanks. A comment about Eric in the book and about how, so, you know, he has the knowledge of how to publish and create a beautiful book as that. There are so many people that have that inner book, or now that one of the things that I teach and that I help people with is how to self-publish books. So I mentioned I'm on my 4th one. So not that I'm an expert, but I've done it. And just like you said about refining the process, what used to take me months now takes a day.
Right.
Or like my first audio book that I did, the DMT book, took me a week, where the audio book for the Psychedelic Field Guide took me 3 hours.
No shit.
Because and I'll happily, and this is what I want to bring Eric in as far as like how we can share, how we can collaborate, and what this means for everybody. I held a class the other day with 2 other self-published people where we shared our experiences with, like, how do you get your book into Amazon KDP? And if you don't know what Amazon KDP is, very simple. It's the book distribution part of Amazon. You need to know what KDP is. How do you formulate an audiobook on that? You have to use their audiobook thing is called ACX. And it's not like, hey, you need to know these what these letters stand for. It's just once you're exposed to it and you know how easy it is. It is so easy to self-publish a book. It is so easy to market a book. My first DMT book has sold in 15 countries, thousands of copies. My audiobook alone has sold over 1,000 copies. And I say that not to be like, oh, look what I've done. It's look what Eric did. He published a book. Look what Adam did. And I want to shout out, if I could, my buddy Dave Comstock, who has a new book out called Serpent Rise. I wrote the foreword in it, and I wrote a little blurb on the back. That book is it's a fantastic book.
Rise sounds rad.
It's just another example of a man that was like, oh, I've got a great book and I think the story will land, but I'm not an author. I can't publish a book. This is too hard. Where I was just like, and he asked me to read it because he was just like, hey, what do you think about it? And that's what Eric asked you to do. Yeah. We both read these individual books and we're like, oh fuck, like I will promote this. Right. This is awesome. And I can say this with confidence. I convinced David that he's of value, of worth, that his book will be of value to people. Please get it out there. Right. I shared my experience publishing, and now this book is published. It's been out, and it's awesome. And so if somebody has a book to write it. If somebody has a song to write, do it. If somebody has a poem, or if someone wants to make bracelets, or if you're a great cook or a great chef or a fucking horse trainer, whatever it is that you're good at, lean into it and then share. But that's where I think, it's not, we all have to be great at everything. Let's create a village. Let's find our group of misfits. And how I live my life too, and along with that resonant energy, is I only accept fuck yes energy. I don't want any half-ass. There's no 85%. There's no slightly vanilla. It's either you're in it 100% fuck yes, or no. Like, you want to write a book with me? Fuck yes. You want to have sex tonight? Fuck yes. You want to go get whatever, those Jamaican tacos? Brisket tacos?
I can't wait for Jamaican tacos. Oh my god, dude.
But if it wasn't, it would be, if you were like, I don't know, like, then it'd be like, all right, well then cool, there's other places. It wouldn't be like,
Let's go to that.
Yeah.
That's I want to experience. Hey, if anybody's in the St. Louis area, particularly St. Charles, downtown St. Charles, join us tonight. What time? What time is it right now? Let's see.
Awesome.
We're probably going to be there around 3 or 4 p.m.
And there's live music. There's awesome vendors. There's some of the best tie-dye, which I can't think of. That's what I'm saying. There's like awesome people there. But
yeah. Welcome to St. Louis, though, man. I knew you'd love it. I knew the food would be good. We should go there just to try a couple different food stands because the taco trucks in St. Louis are cosmic. It's a different level of fucking good, and they're healthy. It's made out of real shit. Like, I don't understand how that works. It's like if you go to fucking Taco Bell, everything's synthetic, and it's okay. But man, you go to taco truck in St. Louis, man, where no one fucking speaks English, and you point to the thing, and you get, and it's just dripping with cheese and real like cilantro and real shrimp and all this stuff, dude.
With their grandmother's recipe, with their marinade that they.
Oh, it's not even close, man. And it's fucking real. And that's what St. Louis is all about, is that everything in St. Louis is different. There's the museums, the bookstores.
If we're talking about the botanical gardens. I've been to not all. I've been to a lot of botanical gardens throughout the country. The botanical gardens in St. Louis is by far the best one I've ever been to. It is.
I built the greenhouse there, which I know that I told you, but the St. Louis Botanical Garden is the greenhouse is like a cube, and we built the whole section where it's like the delicate plants that need extra heat or whatever. Wish it was hot, but yeah, St. Louis Glazers built that, and it was one of the coolest jobs ever because every day you were looking around and you were in the botanical garden, and that's to me that's a moment of Adam Butler right there, where if you're going to work in construction and you're building something, it's hard to enjoy anything that you're doing every day. Manually, but also not against your free will, but you have to stay there. You're at work. You can't go anywhere. And it's hard to enjoy that under any circumstance, but there's always something nice, and it'll wake me up. It'll be like I'm up in the boom lift, and there'll be like a breeze. I'm like working if I gotta work, and then there'll be like a breeze, and then you'll go, oh, I'm on. Like, I'm looking around. I'm in the botanical garden. The sun is shining. There's kids over there.
Butterflies everywhere.
Yeah. And you're like, oh. So I'll have those little moments of it. But what I want people to know, and what I think you want people to know too, is that those moments, those hints are there. And no matter where you're at, you can be anywhere. But it's something that sometimes you might have to habitually, manually look for at first, before it becomes a habit, because I'm still in that zone where it's not a habit for me. I'm always working to get to the next thing. Whereas if I have that breeze, if I have that, oh, I'm on right now, I'm awake, and I can enjoy drilling the scene to here, dude, that getting to point B thing just happens all of a sudden. It's almost like a little cosmic giggle of the universe, dude. It's if you can enjoy the process, even if it's a dreadulous thing, it all of a sudden, if you can find the silver lining in that and rest within that chaos, you're at point B. You're already there, and with every step you have arrived. That was like the first sentence out of my mouth after I seen you last night, because I was like, because you just arrived, and you're But that was your vibe. Is every step that you took, you were here, you arrived, and it was like you weren't like, okay, that's a goal, this is a goal, where's this going to be, or whatever, which is something I do all the time. You had created your destination by the very notion of walking into that door, figuratively speaking, and I think that's something that people need to learn. It can't be necessarily firsthand taught like math can, but it can be guided. And that's what I think your gift is, to be able to guide people to see in that way, to see through God's eyes, so to speak.
I hope so. That's my goal. And, I mentioned how we want to be not like so much like worry about what other people are doing. And I firmly believe that. But like when you're mentioning about, at work and you're up on the lift, and yes, you're working, and maybe it's sunny, maybe you're hungry and all that, but it's like by comparison, so even by comparison of our own lives, like to have a job, to have money coming, to all, but then imagine what about the guy that's in a ditch during a war zone, who's whatever, or think about like I mean, there's so many different analogies where, or the guy that lost both of his arms in a fucking explosion, and now but you've got both of your arms. Or there's so many ways to look back at it to be like, wow, I've got nothing to complain about. And I mean, I believe it doesn't rub people the wrong way, but like us being middle-aged white men in fucking the United States, we've got it so much better than damn near everybody. And it's like our worst day is some people's best day,
dude.
And it's like I take 2 warm showers a day, 4 square meals. I smoke great weed all day.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I gonna complain about? No, but really, like
we mentioned being jealous of each other. But we also mentioned, and this is what I think is important, is
not jealous, appreciate, recognizing the other. Whatever.
We were able to enjoy the reminiscence of experiencing a little bit of each other's reality. So I guess because I think we need different words. There's the word envy and there's the word jealousy. I think the word jealousy got shoved into the word envy because envy means if I don't have it, I don't want nobody else to have it or whatever. Whereas I think the slang even works when people say I'm jelly. That's what they say. Yeah. But it's almost like
because like recognition of like, yeah, that's cool.
I can look at you and I look at your vehicle and I look at where you're going and how you're traveling and everything, and I'm like, I'm jelly, dude. Like that's like fucking so cool to be able to experience life in that way. And then,
but I come into an established home, a beautiful neighborhood, a beautiful house. This house is full of life.
Right.
And so I don't have it. I don't have kids. I don't have a house. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have a job. I don't have a fucking.
So
I don't have Mr. Pickles and Paul. PWAL Paul.
Yeah.
No, but even something like that, like you have that beautiful cat look you in the eyes and rub up against you, purr.
Right.
And I mean, I'm not saying like I could go get a cat if I want to, but it's like no, I don't know. But now you could. It's not but I get a bitch about cleaning the litter box. You're right. Well, everything has a pro and a con.
Right.
But it's don't bitch about the litter box because when Paul and fucking Pickles die, you're gonna be like, I miss my cats. I wish I had their shit to smell.
Right. I wish I had that toxoplasmosis going through my veins right now. Which I need a little bit more toxoplasmosis. I think I need a little bit more risk taking, but
you hang out with me.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm talking about. That's why we're going out tonight. That's right. Main Street, St. Charles, people. Missouri, come through. That'd be crazy if people showed up, man.
It would be funny. Yeah.
Host our first event.
Free months.
We're talking about doing.
Well, yeah. So, and if this is live or if we're getting feedback, and I know your fans are greater in number, and I know are more active, but so we kind of throw it out there. So how can we collaborate? Like we like talking, we like being on stage, we like doing in-person events. There is multiple areas of knowledge that you and I can share. So. Do we do online courses? Do we do a retreat where we get an Airbnb that sleeps 10 and we sign up 10 people? Or do we, or all of the above?
Right.
Yeah. Do we do a creator's content retreat where we explore plant medicines and altered states of reality and go deep? Maybe we do a DMT laser fucking retreat for a couple of days. Like that's that's a lot of areas of topic to go through.
Right.
We could do a Monroe Institute binaural beat shit. I mean,
I got the equipment
and all of the above
and the location now where we can set up speakers and shit like that. And we got Lentini Productions. They've been seeing me do the drywall, which I want to take you there later. But it's a gigantic blank white cube room. There's nothing in the room. It's just white. It's currently getting painted right now, but it's got
an application for like a visual, like a 3D projector to go like a sphere setup type shit.
There's going to be a projector that comes down from the center of the ceiling that goes 360 and it can project on any wall or whatever. And I'm going to try to get the acoustics in there to be like an ovum where it reaches central points on either side, like a whisper room almost. But we are planning to do a lot of filming there. But there's it's in Cottleville, right there in St. Peter, St. Charles. Perfect location, and I think it'd be great to have like little events. And the event doesn't even have to be a singular theme. We can have music. We can have talking.
A monthly thing or a quarterly, a seasonal.
Yes.
But to start it.
Right. Yeah. And I think it would be a lot of good because, and also there's also
if we're talking to the live audience, or if we're proposing that, I think this is when, like you were saying, like, so what do you bring to the table? You can bring this, and this. I can bring this. Like, so if there are people out there, if you've got a beautiful piece of land, if you've got multiple houses that serves a retreat, if you've got extra fucking money, like him and I, we don't have extra money. Like, if you want to go, you want to hang out, you're like, what is everybody bringing to the table? And maybe we have a somatic dance practitioner. Maybe we have a cool massage therapist come. Maybe we have a great chef that I can cook you guys custom meals all week. Cool, you're fucking in. Like, let's all come together and have a great time. And it's because why not? As grown ass adults, we're in control of our destiny. We can manifest whatever the fuck we want. So I want fun retreats with cool people where we explore fun shit, and I want to do it a couple times a year. And I am.
Right.
So, like, we'll be invited, and if there's cool people, like, come along. Why the fuck not?
I want to have a cell phone free chat. Not chat. I would like to host a seminar saying some of the shit I can't say on the internet, where no one, like, there's a screening. Your phone goes in a fucking bag, and then we go and we talk to people.
By invite only. Yeah. So it's not, hey, we want 100. No, we're screening 12.
Right.
And it's, not to make money, but to build whatever scope and reach too.
Yes. And I think the opportunities are endless in that endeavor. And so the studio is getting built just for, recording, but Anthony is open. He's excited. We're ready to experiment, see what happens, even if it's like a little concert or something like that, But yeah, and if anybody has a plot of land that they want to host something, email me or Adam, and we'll talk something up. We'll get this thing out, and we'll do Hop A. And they see me. Have you ever done this before?
I just did it actually. I was exposed to it for the first time about a month ago, and I just went full blast Sunday when I did the Bufo.
How'd you like it? Was that?
So my nose is virgin. I've never snorted anything. Right. So I was actually apprehensive, and I've been offered it before, and I kind of said no because I've never snorted anything.
Right.
But when I was around it last time, a woman suggested, she called it like a butterfly wing application. So instead of just like a full blown like where it was a kind of like and it was so it completely disarmed me. I wasn't fearful about it. I was like, all right, well, she's going to be sensitive, and it was beautiful. So my first introduction was a simple kind of butterfly puff, and then when I went and did it again Sunday, it was the full fucking and it was good.
Virgin nose, man. I get you. But I love that phrase. Whenever just a little quick story is, I did it, and I was recorded doing it, and then I was like, you know what? Pop that on the internet. Let's put it on Facebook or whatever. And I did it right there. And a lot of people were curious. They're like, oh, that's Hop A, that's this and that or whatever. My comment section is amazing. I don't know how I get away with it, but there were those comments of people who were like, that's supposed to be sacred. You're supposed to do that in a ceremonious nature, all that stuff. And you're like, how do you explain to these people that it's a 2-minute video on the internet? You have no idea what happened before. You have no idea what happened after, how I came onto this.
Well, that shows their ignorance, not yours.
That's I know. It's so funny that, and you might see this too, where if you put out a short video, like a clip, because you do interviews. Well, people comment on the clip out of context. So you could lay out all the math and science of something, take an hour, and then 2-minute conclusion.
Summarize it, and they say you don't know shit.
Dude, it never gets old, and I never get used to it. But I appreciate it, by the way. They're important. We need those people out there because they cause a little ruffle. Like, was it Chris Dunn was saying, if you're not ruffling feathers, you're doing something wrong or whatever.
Or you're not doing shit.
Then you're
doing something that's boring and no one gives a shit.
Right. In construction, we have the same motto: is if you're not making mistakes, you're not doing nothing. Right. It's like something's got to get broken. There's going to be some broken glass, or else you're not doing nothing. That's your playing it safe. People like,
if the trash can's empty, then what the fuck did you do all day?
Right. If the drills still look new at the end of the week, that you think the boss appreciates it, well, now he sees that this shit still looks new. All right, dude. Please, 100 Days of Darkness.
I was gonna say, I know.
Tell me about this shit. Tell me about it.
So I So what you're referencing is I recently did a 6-day darkness retreat, which ended up equating to 100+ hours of pitch blackness. So pitch blackness.
Right.
I'm not like, but the importance of sharing that story and why I kind of explored it in the first place was, as much as I talk about psychedelics and that they help me, psychedelics are not for everybody. DMT is definitely not for everybody. But self-exploration, self-knowledge, self-love, having brutal self-honesty, all of those things I think are for everybody. So what I'm trying to do is study as many modalities as possible that parallel that level of getting to the awareness that we discussed. Okay. And that's why I spent a week at the Monroe Institute, which I got a lot out of that and a lot of tools in my toolkit. I mentioned how I recently did a float tank, which there's a lot there that I'd like to be able to share as well. But the Darkness Retreat had always been at the top of that list. You hear about the Eleusinian mysteries. You hear about all these esoteric teachings where they went into caves for multiple days. There's always something about sensory deprivation and removing something and having that kind of like proverbial death before really dying to be able to whatever. So there was a lot of literature involved that I had read that got me interested in Darkness Retreats. Yeah. And the final tip of the cap was I had a very profound DMT experience. And so I always have respect and reverence when I go in. I always have typically a theme or flavor. Yeah. And this particular time it was about gratitude, it was about thanks. Like I really went in and was just so appreciative of everything that had been in my life. And when I was coming out, I asked, what's the next step? Or what else should I do? And in the DMT space, I quite often get messages given threes in short sentences. This was going to darkness, going to darkness, going to darkness. And it wasn't like a download. This was actually like a male voice booming, similar to the one that said save Julie, that kept me from killing myself, was going to darkness. So that day I looked up, I live in Rhode Island. There was a local darkness retreat in Vermont, a couple hours away, held by a guy that's been doing it for like 15 years. Went through the process, got accepted. And if I could, to share kind of what that experience was and pull it apart, because there was so much beauty, so much self-knowledge. And for somebody that may be slightly intimidated by psychedelics, this does offer a modality that gives you a psychedelic experience and then gives you that connection to source. Yeah. But so showed up, had our debriefing, and this particular setup was I had my own bedroom and then a hallway that led to the bathroom, and everything was that was it. That was my space. It was once we ate and we had our discussion, he left me in the room with all of the lights on. So, you take as long as you want to get acquainted. So put your shit away, fill out the drawers, walk back and forth so you don't know how to stub your toe, where's the toilet paper, all of that shit. And then you shut off the main light and then you just have the book reading light. So now it's like nice dim. So now you're getting comfortable again. Yeah. Then you shut that off and you're down to just a candle. So now I'm about 3 hours into my ready and it's just me and a candle. Yeah. And I know like as soon as I blow that out, it's fucking it. It's it. Right.
Damn. Wow, this is fucking wild.
But now there's the fucked up thing though is, and I want to make sure that people know this too, because they're like, oh, what, you go in solitary confinement and you were in a hole? No. So all the doors were unlocked, all the light switches were right there. There was an old shit flashlight hanging on the bed. There was a candle and lighter where you ate if you needed to. Mm-hmm. And that was the big psychological win, was I didn't cheat at all. I didn't flick a lighter once.
How do you eat? Like, how do you?
Carefully. And
slowly, carefully.
Is it solid? Is it liquid? Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it oatmeal? Is it mashed potatoes?
Wow.
So to be present.
Yeah.
So it took
you have to be present.
2+ hours to eat just a single meal.
Yeah.
And then clean up for yourself and not like, so then how do you clean it? How do you, everything? How do you wipe your ass?
Right.
How do you know when you're done wiping your ass?
Right.
How do you put toothpaste on your toothbrush?
Right.
Where the fuck?
You gotta be fucking
in it.
present. Like you're forced to be present to the point of
ridiculousness.
Right.
Everything else has to come out. So
oh my God.
The first, and this is where, to pull apart that experience, the first hour or two was like, oh, this is cool. Like, fucking, this is kind of neat. Like, but then the next day and a half, 2 days were kind of like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm doing no drugs. I'm getting no input. Like, I could have got a tattoo. I could have went back to the Monroe Institute to save a lot of money and got like, what the fuck am I doing just sitting in darkness? Like, man. Okay. Well, that's when things started to change. Like if you go into a fast, like, so you can't just say, "Oh, I fasted for 2 hours." No, you didn't. You didn't eat for 2 hours. You can't just say you went into darkness for fucking 2 days. No, well, whatever. Like, I had to go through that physiological change where about 3.5 days in is when it fucking switched. So it went from just being in a dark room to navigating to eating to figuring out how not to stub your toe to then it was laying in bed and I didn't know if I was sleeping, if I was awake. I had like this REM sleep eye movement, and then my body, all of my psychedelic experiences are equate with a vibratory hum and shake. And my body started getting into that DMT fucking hum. Really? And then it started being like, oh fuck, and then my eyes started going. And I was in that state for the last day and a half. So, you know, whatever, fucking 40 hours of blissed out, fireworks swirling like lights in the sky, all sorts of fucking insane shit, including, and I'll pass it back to pull it apart, but it was very different from the visuals of DMT, where in my case, it was just swirling clouds of like aurora borealis that was just white. And then every so often, a little bit of purple would come in. But there was no spinning mandalas. There was no craziness. It was just white cloud swirly. And then, but you could go like this, and like you'd see, like the hand go through the fucking ear. Like you could play with the fucking shit.
Wow.
But the most mind fucking thing was after I'd done that, you know. So now I'm like a day and a half in of like just sitting there tweaked out, looking at all the shit, knowing that there's some light either coming. I'm either super sensitive and I'm picking it up, or I'm producing it from the inside out. Something's happening. Right. Well, I went up to take a shit, and I'm sitting there on the toilet, and this is like, you know, again coming up on the last day, and I'm like, fuck, I haven't looked in the mirror in 5 days because I'm in the black, right? And I'm like, well, I wonder what would happen if I stare in the mirror. Will I see? Like, will my eyes pick up light? And that was the fucked up shit, dude. I got up and I leaned in towards the mirror because I knew where it was because the sink was right there. And there was this, like, whitish glow where my eyes were. And when I leaned in, it got brighter and brighter. Not like two circles, like but a cigar-shaped area of lightness that was projecting from my visor of light. And when I leaned in, I lit up the fucking... the mirror with the light from whatever.
So like biophotons or something emitted enough to be able to pick up some kind of
hypersensitive.
Right. Yeah, and like, the mirror might have amplified that just enough
for me to pick up. So yeah, because when you're in pitch blackness, any type of light is going to show contrast. And it was like everything's black except where my eyes are, and you're going like this, and that fucking thing's moving, and it's like fuck, like that. But that's again, more confirmation about what your inner light is, and then more confirmation of. And so I don't know if that light show was endogenous DMT, was it endogenous 5-MeO DMT, was it dopamine, was it serotonin, was it, you know, I don't know enough chemically to know what happened, but it was a very clear, distinct switch from just the guy laying in the dark to, oh no, now your body is doing something vibratory or vibrationally that was different. And man, it was beautiful.
I suppose like whenever there's no light, somehow, some way, you start to produce your own. And maybe it's amplified, or maybe we always are, and we don't.
You become all the other senses become more attuned and heightened.
Right.
And then the deprivation of that. So, you know, like I have such appreciation for.
I'm gonna grab some of the drink. Keep talking.
You know, for having the meal because I had food taken away from me, or I have so much appreciation for whatever, a new pair of socks and clean underwear because what the fuck, like until you don't have clean underwear and a warm pair of socks, it's, you know, so. With the darkness retreat, like I mentioned, when was the last time you didn't wipe your ass in the dark? Like hopefully you always check. But like, when was the last time you didn't see your hands for 100 plus hours? Like so I've got these gnarly little fat French fucking meat hook hands, right? And I'm coming out, and so we're slowly taking out my mask. So this is after the 100 hours, and we're coming out. And you slowly going through it, and I just crumbled into such a mess of tears because I was so grateful for. Like just to be like, oh, like these are the hands that have worked so hard. These are the hands that whatever, like my skin, my whatever, and then to look and then see the other human, his name's Keen, how he had just served me all these meals for the last 6 days, and how he had been there and held space, and now I'm seeing him look at me smiling, and it was this beautiful interaction. And then you're seeing the sunset, and this was in Vermont, so there was the mountain and then the river, and then it was just like, whew, I needed that. And then driving home, like. To have 2 hours of just light and driving and having like, it was just such an appreciation for, wow, what if any one of my senses got taken away? Like, but I guess it was, you don't need, and the message of, don't wait for something to be taken away to realize how fucking awesome it is. Like, I don't know. You can hear, you can smell, you can taste, you can feel, we have all our digits, like. Mm.
And even in the darkness retreat, you're not necessarily listening to music either, are you? So,
The only thing I did have a buffalo drum, and so one of the cool things that I did was lay there with the buffalo drum and hold it above your head and just slowly just go dum.
yeah,
So you like the vibe, you'd hear and feel the pulse.
right.
And then, but you know, for the first couple of days you would just hear it. Well, then on fifth day you'd see
Right.
like you'd hit it and you'd go oh. So but again, like so now, and you've got nothing to do for the next 12 fucking hours except to do that. So it's like, well, there's no rush. What are you gonna go rush to do? And so you might as well just.
So you're also kind of experiencing a deprivation of agenda.
Everything.
Planning,
Phone,
right.
I had not had my phone ever, to
Right.
not write an email, to not
Right.
everything.
It makes you realize how if you were to do that and not let people know that you were doing a retreat, a darkness retreat or whatever, you'd be a missing person. And how weird that is that we can't just disappear from society. You can't just take off to, like you used to. I mean, you could take off to the woods and just be gone for a few days or whatever. But
like if you didn't post, your fans would be like, "Oh shit!" Like,
dead. You'd be there's like people who are like, "Oh shit!" Then now we need a search party or whatever. And it's crazy to think about. Which, of course, if someone's missing, they need to be searched for. Or whatever. But like, it goes to show you how interconnected we are with the world, both virtually and through things, and just even showing up to jobs or whatever. We're expected. We're always expected, and to be communicative somehow or another. And if we go away for 6 days, that's it's considered almost strange. You almost have to let people know that it's a retreat. It's a thing that you're going to. And I mean, I might try that out, dude. Like
when I that darkness retreat. So again, the mind over matter. The fact that I had to make the conscious decision for 100+ hours to be intentional with my my actions. Where, and we can maybe talk about some of this too about the psychedelic use. But one of my last retreats out west, when I first got introduced, to 5-MeO DMT, which was a beautiful introduction. But the day prior was 2 hours of working with 5-MeO DMT, dancing with it, building a relationship, and then having the full whiteout. So it was pretty intense. Well, the next day, it was like an 8-hour session, and then there's a picture of it in my book when I was laying there, where I did a full dose of LSD,
Jesus,
shroom tea, and it was only a gram, so not that much shroom, but full dose of LSD, a gram of shroom tea, a full dose of MDMA, and then I was ripping that 5 pen.
Oh.
So it was like a 7-hour session, and it was layered. It started with the LSD, and then the shrooms, and then the 5 pen, and then like 3 or 4 hours into it, I did the MDMA to come back somatically into my body. But I share that with people, and they're like, "Wow, you're so brave! Like that's fucking nuts! I can't believe you did that." Where in my case, it was just like, no, I just swallowed a bunch of shit, smoked a bunch of shit, and hope I didn't die.
Can you tell the
And if
difference
anything, it was-
between each one?
Yeah,
Really?
each one hit a different.
Yeah.
It was like adding a different musical frequency.
Wow.
But I sailed that where it wasn't so much bravery. If anything, you could say maybe it was stupidity, or it was just take it and hold on.
Yeah.
Where the darkness retreat was every second, don't hit the light switch. Every second, don't
Right.
panic. Every second, don't just crack the door for a minute.
Right.
And that was the mental win where, yes, I got that badge to say I did all those drugs, but it was just me consuming them.
Right.
The badge that I got for sitting in 100 hours of darkness, that I wear with a little bit more pride, because any old fool that has access to those 4 molecules can ingest them. Not any old fool can sit in a fucking room for 100 hours by themselves. That will
Right.
drive a lot of people fucking nuts.
100 hours, dude. Well, how was your sleep cycle? You just sleep when you're tired?
Man, it was weird.
Yeah, you didn't know when it was day or night?
I did know because of the food cycle. So he would drop
Yeah.
off food right around 8 or 9 in the morning, and then roughly around 5 or 6 at night.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
that I did kind of, and then I could hear the outside. So in this case, it was Vermont, and it was winter, and I could hear the plows. So I
Right.
knew when the morning would come and they would stop plowing.
Damn. That's just wild.
It was
Right.
it was so beautiful, and it was such a.
What is the whiteout? I've heard you say it like twice now. Is that just 5-MeO DMT or Bufo or whatever? Like what is okay? So I'm familiar with NN dimethyltryptamine, which is synthesized from acacia and
Or a bunch of other plants. So I make mine from mimosa.
mimosa. Okay, yeah, all right. So 5-MeO. is I'm thinking it's from the Colorado toad, or is that, or there's also multiple?
Yeah, so, and I'm glad you're bringing this up because it is, we have to kind of start with the basics before I think you start exploring it. So,
Right.
if we could, with NN-DMT, I think it's important to understand the difference between like ayahuasca that you're drinking and consuming that will last 6 to 8 hours where you're purging, you're shitting, you're puking. Beautiful, I said, beautiful experience.
Right. It's beautiful, right?
There's a difference there from smoking the crystals, which last 8 or 9 minutes and pretty quick. But the difference between NN-DMT and 5-MeO-DMT is the 5-MeO, I think, stands for methioxyl. So that there's another compound that's attached to the molecule. It's still very similar, but the experiences are very, very vastly different. And,
Really?
I've now been playing and dancing with 5-MeO now maybe 50 plus times. So I've done it quite a bit recently, over the past maybe year or so. And and it's going to be different for everybody, but how I described NN-DMT is it's like removing the veil and your 5 senses get dialed up from 10 to 1,000,000. You have all these other senses being added on. And I'm doing a lot of motion because it's important. Like you're going out, you're going into the DMT realm, you're expanding your brain, your consciousness, you're adding on, there's entities coming in, there's spinning mandalas, there's so much shit where it's just, you're out, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm in the universe with God, and there's so much happening.
Yeah.
And then that collapses in, and you're like, oh, I am all one, I'm one with God, and it comes back.
Okay.
5-MeO is, the senses start getting like removed. It starts kind of getting like the whiteout phase, kind of like the peripheral starts fading. The senses stop getting less, and there's a vibratory hum that brings you in, compacting. You're removing.
Yeah.
You're getting rid of everything, and then there's just this blank whiteout where it's just a vibratory hum, an electric buzz. There's nothing. It's not even like you're standing in a room and you're seeing white. It's just there's nothing. It's like you're dead. Like you're fucking. When you're doing NN, you're dancing and fucking with God.
Right.
When you're doing 5-MeO, you're like, oh, I just died. This is death. What the fuck is this? And it's like, but then it goes so far in, and then it goes back out. So again, it's like that toroidal thing where one's going like this, the other one's going like this, but it brings you back to that center point of profundity to be like, oh, I am both. I'm one. I'm there.
Right.
But now with 5-MeO, there is also some distinction. So you mentioned bufo. That's a Sonoran desert frog. So the main ingredient when people, so they squeeze the juice and secretions out of the toad's back, they put it on glass slides, they dry it, and then that forms into a crystal. You smoke that crystal. The main active ingredient is 5-MeO, but you have, and I don't know the number, but I guess there's like 10 or so different other toxins. So all these other secondary metabolites that are in that toad poison.
Yeah.
So when you smoke bufo, you're getting the 5-MeO, but then all the other fucking stuff. And there's a lot of other stuff.
Okay.
5-MeO can be synthesized synthetically. So literally just a chemistry kind of rundown, and now you've just got white crystals that have nothing but straight 5-MeO.
Mm-hmm.
But then the first time I was exposed to it, it was derived from yopo seeds, which are these beautiful brown, they look like kind of like coffee beans.
Okay.
And it's the same extraction, well, a similar extraction process to like taking mimosa or acacia and pulling out NN-DMT. You can get yopo seeds and pull out the 5-MeO. So 5-MeO, there's synthetic as well as naturally derived, and then there's the other level of bufo that has the 5-MeO, but then all the other stuff. And I had my first relatively light bufo session about 3 weeks ago, and then Sunday, so 6 days ago, I did a full-on multi-leveled as much as I could, as big as I could, as much as I wanted.
Yeah, right.
And I fucking ripped it. And way different from regular 5-MeO because of the complexity of all those other molecules.
Yeah.
And it went. And if I just from a surrender, right? Because this is actually really important to how I started my road trip and what I got from that lesson. I met this beautiful couple that I became very close friends with. I had done a ceremony with them before. I felt comfortable going deep into the bufo space. We had the whole night set aside. It was absolutely beautiful, and it was perfect for everything that I needed and wanted. I thought, well, I'm some seasoned psychonaut. I've done all of this growth. I'm so grounded and so whatever, and I've and not like, and kind of rightly so. Like, right, I've done, my resume is pretty good, and I've done a lot of work. I thought the Bufo was I'm going to go there and expand, open up my third eye. I'm going to go out again, and I'm doing all this like, I'm gonna just add another level and layer to my pizzazz and sparkle, and I'm gonna add another sensor, and I'm gonna vibrate even higher.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
that Bufo, dude, it was so grounding and so humiliating and so the exact opposite, where I realized, no, my root chakra, not even the secondary and tertiary ones, but my root chakra needed so much more grounding and so much more the other level. And the organic, natural toad presented itself truly as a toad. And I had the vision of, when I did shrooms, that mycelial network that connects all the shrooms is, say, whatever, 2 to 3 feet, say, at that surface level. Got me grounded, rooted. My psychological shadow work was done. Awesome. Well, then the acacia and or mimosa root was even deeper, right? So my DMT really grounded me. It got me below the mycelium, rooted in the ground, and now I've got this great container. Well, the Bufo frogs, those Sonora frogs, go feet and feet and feet under the soil. I think some of them like go dormant for like years, like 7 years.
Yeah.
They are below the mycelium, below the roots of trees.
Really?
They're truly in the core of the fucking earth. And I was vibrating at the resonance of earth. Not so if up here at DMT is
right.
Bufo was like Schumann resonance. Like I was like, and then lower and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and it was just like, I have to build another layer underneath my vessel, and I need to. And what I came from that was, I reinforced my vessel to then expand. I created another level of grounding. I added another pin of my root, which now I can go explore. So that's why I'm comfortable ripping these pens no matter what. But
is that what this is?
That's the 5 pen. But it was like, I thought I was going there to ascend, and no, I went to go to the core of the earth.
Right. You know what Carl Jung always says is, your leaves can't reach heaven until your roots reach down. This is like the Jack and the Beanstalk mythology, is that the whole beanstalk fucking falls over because it gets too high, it gets too tall, and the roots aren't strong enough.
And that's it. So, and I hate to say, but what if that would have happened to me? So what if I would have, with a little cockiness or arrogance, to be like, I'm going to go out and watch what I can do.
Right.
And then I fucking burn out and fizzle. But not to say, if anything, I know I still got a lot more work to do and some humility and some grounding work. But again, I looked up and I came out and I saw this beautiful woman, her man, they're both sitting there with me. And it was just like, that's exactly what I fucking needed.
Really?
Nothing what I thought, nothing whatever.
What you expected.
But it was just like, fuck, that's exactly what I needed to then get. And then from there, I went to Pittsburgh and met with a group of people, and then from there to Illinois, and it's like, wow, that grounding was just what I needed. And now my vessel just added another level, another container. It has another wall, shell, however you want to word it. I just became, I don't know, like so much more badass by being restricted and secured and rooted, as opposed to watch how high I can go. Well, again, any schmuck can shoot themselves off into the fucking universe. How many people can go that deep into the fucking earth and ground themselves? That's where I was like,
that's where we come from. Is, I mean, the body is of earth, but the soul is of the sun. We're physical earth vessels made of the clay of the earth. We're made of, the body is made out of atoms. We have an animal body. Whereas, the electricity of the soul that comes from the sun is how we eat, and it's the silver and gold combined together, and you can't have one without the other, because one's Lucifer, one's Satan, and that's what the Christ is the balance between, the mud and the lights, and that's I think
feminine
the most
and
important
masculine
thing.
and the Kundalini awake. Like there's a lot of that swirling and balancing of
that to be able to integrate the two into the one is almost literally the great work in its literal format, to where the great work, of course, being the Philosopher's Stone. What else is the Philosopher's Stone if not the integration of the yin and the yang? That's, the Taoism and the alchemists are essentially talking about the same thing. But when you see like Luciferian people believe that that the Gnostics took the earth to be of an evil nature because of the food chain being built into it, which I understand. But there's beauty there in the earth, which is captured by your book perfectly. And, you know, Luciferian types or whatever believe that everything is spirit and all of this is meant to be discarded at the soonest possible expedited moment. Whereas, like, you know, the Satanist people, which I don't know if these definitions change over time, but whatever, Satanist people believe everything's animal. Everything is the mud of the earth. We are just animals, and we're to give in to our urges and give into our lower nature or whatever, and just let it take over because there's no meaning for anything else. And that's devastatingly almost wronger than the Luciferian idea of only light. And whenever you're all the way this side or all the way on the other side with anything, it could be that, it could be politics, it could be music, it could be, if you're all the way masculinity and femininity, if you're all the way on one side or the other, it equates to evil. It's not like evil is here and then good is here. Evil is all the way whack.
It's a skewing of a balance.
Right.
Where?
You're driving even. That's what, you know, the diets, dude, it's like everything. Pitch with music, there's lows and there's highs. So it's almost like the good, the Christ consciousness, you know, the way that the Buddha taught, isn't just a straight line running down the center of those things. It's a wavering type of snake, sine wave between the two, the serpent between the two that comes back and forth, but it always makes its way back to center, you know. So that's, I think, the beauty that you captured with that could have been run away with if somebody didn't realize that that's what they're being grounded right now, which is, you know, the word grounded is so used that I think people tend to forget that it means electricity. Grounding means to be you're grounded. You are made of electrical impulses, and the earth is what makes that possible. You're grounded. And the word we run away with our words so often. But when you go that deep into the earth, so to speak, which is almost like what you literally did, because you're becoming synonymous in character with the animal it came from.
And it was airy.
But it was airy.
Well, like airy, how close it was, like toad-like and frog-like. And
eerie.
Eerie, yeah.
Okay.
Not eerie.
No, I got you.
Airy.
Right.
Like odd how fucking toad-like the experience was. It was
right.
Like, oh,
fuck. You almost,
and even my body was like,
right.
Yeah, I was crumbling.
Yeah.
But then coming out of it, it was a beautiful release.
Right. So going into it's beautiful. Coming out of it also is beautiful.
Bufo has a lot to do with death and dying
Really?
and going. Yeah. So it was challenging,
right.
But you know, I had this conversation with one of my mentors, this lady Shelley, and we talk about psychedelics a lot. And I said I think Bufo would be maybe one of the more that to start, not the first one, but maybe in the beginning of somebody's psychedelic exploration because of how grounding it is.
Right.
But then she kind of had the opposite opinion to be like, but it is so profoundly grounding. Like, it is such a death fucking experience that if you don't have some sort of light to balance it, it could almost be too much. So there is, you know, there's going to be that interplay of like, how, you know, like if I would have got that lesson, if I would have got my shadow work through that instead of through shrooms,
really,
I don't know. Like
enough.
It may have been, but I don't, you know, like I don't think I'd want to explore the pleasures of somatic sensations of MDMA unless I have the grounding of Bufo.
Yeah, right. Ah, man. See, it's scary because, you know, they talk about set and setting, and they talk about being in the right headspace or whatever. Tell me what you think of this, because a lot of people, I think, assume that means to be happy before you do it, but what you're describing, especially earlier today, was you don't have to be necessarily chipper before going into it. What you have to do is go into it with appreciation and authentic, I don't want to say curiosity, but willingness and surrender to whatever it pours into you. Because like if you're waiting until you're absolutely happy before you go into this thing, you're going to see jesters and clowns, and it's going to be a big, colorful show. Great. But you also don't want to be in dire straits and hit the, either. But at the same, but if you
But
make
it's
sure,
used so for people with depression and suicidal
Right.
ideation, so it's like it has that fine balance. Like,
Right, right.
you need it when you're in the shit, but if you're too far in the shit, it could fucking
backfire.
blast you. It could
Right, I've had that
fucking ruin
before,
you.
by the way. I didn't write that one down. A lot of people know about it, but I had my fly in the box. It was a fucking episode, dude, and I don't mean like on the show, but that too. But two of the worst experiences of my life were with DMT. Also, 2 or 3 of the best experiences of my life were with DMT. But I have been viciously attacked by whatever is on the other side there. And you have to ask yourself, if are you attacking yourself? Is that are they a mirror? Because that's what the Tibetans teach, is that these beings are a
Projection
mirror,
of yourself.
right, of your psychological state. And it makes you wonder if
And maybe it is.
maybe it
you
is.
had to purge some. Maybe you had a fucking
Right.
badass demon in you that needed to.
Right. I think that there's beings over there, objectively speaking, and they are alive
I agree.
and they're there. But we are expecting them to have a personality and attributes and color and form. They don't. They're just beyond that. So whenever we see them, they are not forced to take on a form like they take on a form. You know how we project color, right? How they say that, and it's annoying people say it, but it's true, that there's no such thing as color. We see a vibratory wavelength, and then our brain creates the color. What's so different? So if you're seeing an entity,
It's exactly the same. Yeah.
right, so it's going to reflect whatever your brain is doing at the time. But that's the important part, is you don't want to be, you waiting for the right headspace to be all happy and chipper. You're going to get a reflection of that, and that's super duper. It's safe. You're great. Of course, don't go in whenever you've got a job interview or whatever. It's going to backfire. But to know that you're in the middle, in that path, you're regular. You're, I don't say regular, but regulated.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of hovering. That's not going to feel like the right time. And so many people say, "Oh, I'm waiting for the right time." I'm like, "How do you feel today?" They're like, "I just feel regular today. I'm waiting for the right time." I'm like, "Dude, no, right? You're at your baseline right now. Not anxiety, but also not happy. That's probably the right time to go in, because you're going to get a neutral and direct reflection of who you are, what you are. In the case of life, let's say you were to die. The Buddhists say that whenever you die, at that moment of death, that person who you are as a summary, the average, is what psychologically is what you experience on the other side. That could be what DMT is showing us. That doesn't explain why 5-MeO and NN would be so different, but
Well, the term used with psychedelics is that it's a non-specific amplifier, right?
non-specific.
So it typically will amplify whatever emotion, whatever feeling, whatever. Like if you're sad, you'll be extra sad. If you're
Right.
fucking horny and happy, you'll be extra horny and happy.
Right. And then the beings over there will reflect that.
But so super important about set and setting, and it's not so much, in my opinion, like what mind state, good or bad, but like what's the intention behind it. So if you are depressed, or you are, like just to be aware of it and to understand, hey, maybe if I can get some guidance on this or whatever. But like, as opposed to, oh, I'm gonna go battle my demons. You want to fucking show yourself? All right, I'm gonna take these shrooms. Here we are. Like, you're kind of going with that like confrontational aspect. And maybe a bit challenging.
Well, what I've noticed with DMT is there's going to be some things that are very frightening. Obviously, that's about it. Never with first timers, by the way. No, if you're ever first time with DMT for whatever reason, it's very kind to first timers. It's only the veterans that it messes with. But like, you ever seen a horror movie where there's a little girl with long black hair and it's wet, and she's in a little dirty white dress, and she's like, that's like every horror movie, but she's crawling at the grown man, and he's got a shotgun or whatever, and he's like, he panics and he runs away or drives away because there's a creepy thing coming at him. You always wonder in the movie, and this is completely metaphorically speaking, what happens if the guy just goes,
hey, sweetie. Or or she either shoots it or even says, yeah,
right.
Do you need a shower?
If a little
you
creepy
hungry?
girl comes up to you, what is gonna be the bad thing? What's gonna be? How is she gonna murder you? How is she gonna get
She wants
you?
a hug. She's lost.
Right.
The soul needs, yeah.
So like Alan Watts said,
Well,
if you see a ghost, walk into it.
In how that I think translates into my life realistically is that I studied insects in college for almost 8 years. So
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm an entomologist. I'm
Oh shit!
Super nerd there.
All right.
But where somebody, and how many people hate spiders or hate bugs or they're so gross or kill them all, or where I see, what some consider like a house centipede. Oh, those are so gross. They're fucking gorgeous. Look at the colors on them. Look at the patterns. Look what happened. Look where, so, or somebody could look at a dragonfly nymph and be like, wow, that looks alien. That's so gross. And I'm looking at it being like, this is such a beautiful aquatic fucking machine. This is it, man.
Right.
So I think people can look at, like again, maybe not the horror movie, demon because it's supposed to be personified like that. But what about just the old lady that has rotten teeth?
Right.
Does that make her fucking mean or not? No, that means she didn't have money to get fucking dental work.
Right.
Or what about the guy that smells like piss? Does that mean he's a piece of shit? No, that means he didn't have access to a shower for a couple of days and he hasn't changed his boxes.
Right.
I hate to say it, that's happened to me quite a few times when I had fucking millions and 10 bathrooms to fucking shower in, and now I was the guy that smelled like piss. So it's like, just be careful on how you're looking at things. And, we talk so lovingly about Mr. Pickles. Like, I have an aunt that's deathly afraid of cats. Like, she won't be in the fucking house unless there's a cat there because she's petrified of it.
Something happened.
Or she got attacked by a couple cats. And then recently, and this was fucked, I guess, this was recently, a few years ago, like, they were together and there was, like, a fun cat, like, in the fucking room. And, like, the cat wigged out and, like, expressed, like, attack mode type shit, which then perpetuated another data point on what cats are just evil animals. Where it's like, I just went out there and gazed into the cat's soul and was just like, you are such a beautiful animal.
Yeah.
But, so, and maybe same thing like us. I hate to say it. Some people will look at me, and people actually do. They fucking walk away from me. They'll be like, whatever, and whether it be the tattoos, the pace that I walk at,
crossing the street when you're thing,
or you'll see it, whatever, and it's just like, you're fearful of me, like me, like. But then I get it. If I was a young college woman and I'm walking down the streets of fucking Kansas City at 10:30, and I'm walking by some random place that I shouldn't be, that I'm not like I can understand.
I guess,
but,
right.
Again, I apply that where it's like, don't and. Actually, I'd love to share this story because it had to do with a woman that had, and hopefully if she's listening, she did have not the prettiest of teeth, but other than that, she is a beautiful soul. But I recently did a book event, and I had a sign for the sale and the number of my books and like how to get in touch with me. But then I had a sign that said, offering authentic compliments and a free hug if you need one.
Okay.
Dude, I got so much response from that sign. But this woman came up to me. Well, she came and she's standing there looking at the booth, and you see her at the sign, and she looks at me. She's like, "Free hugs." She's like, "What does that mean?" I said, "Oh, I give amazing hugs." And I'm like, "I'll happily give you one." And then she goes, "I haven't had a hug in years." And she goes, "It's actually probably been about 10 years."
That's a cry for help.
Dude, and this woman, she reminded me of my mom. She fucking gorgeous. So I said, "Oh, I'd love to give you a hug." She lunged into my arms, and she was a petite woman, so I was able to wrap my arms around her, and I was touching myself like this.
Right.
And I held her for a good minute and a half, and then my buddy Strider was there, and I asked him, and he's a great hugger too, and I said, "Strider, would you mind giving this beautiful woman a hug? She could really use one." And the 3 minutes of us interacting like that was just so fucking awesome and so amazing. It was, and she left walking on cloud 9, and it's like, fuck you for the people that judge her because she doesn't have the cleanest of teeth, and it was just like, and I hate to say it, I'd say 9 out of 10 people in society probably judge that woman as, or would walk away, or, ooh, like, I'm not gonna lean in and hug her. Whereas I was like, man, I just looked at her and she was the most beautiful woman I saw that day.
Yeah.
And then when I hugged her, I knew it. I was just like, oh my god, like, man, how not you're missing out on hugs. Anybody that couldn't or should have been hugging you, fuck, they're missing out because what a great hugger you are. And it's that type of like.
It's a vibe.
And it's because and again, this isn't because, wow, Adam, you must have learned so much. I used to be a fucking douchebag where I would judge all those people. I'd walk in the gym and be like, oh, I got a bigger dick than them, I make more money than them, my girl's hotter than them, I own more houses than them, my car's faster, blah, 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 like, until all that shit got fucking taken away from me. And it's just like, you know what?
Right.
Shame on you if you, like,
yeah.
And if you think you have security, like we talk about the power of surrendering, if anybody thinks they have security in anything, if you think you're secure in your marriage, you're not. If you think you're secure in your health, you're not. If you think you're secure in your job, you're not. If you think your family relationship, you're not.
Right.
And I hate this, no one is.
Everything's temporary.
Everything. You can have the best, and I don't, knock on wood, but it's like, somebody could die of cancer, a car accident, or whatever, or fucking, like, the company could go out of business that you worked for 30 years and you realize that they fucking screwed you and you don't even have a fucking retirement account anymore. You can, like...
There's kids going to college right now for shit that's not going to be a job.
Yeah. So, don't... Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know where we were going with that, but...
Yeah, I mean,
lean into your own...
everything's temporary. That's...
Oh, yeah, there is no security.
There is no security, and you have to rest.
That doesn't paralyze you. That should motivate you. That should liberate you. That should be like, well, what the fuck? There is no... I can't lose anyway, or no matter what, I might as well try. And to me, the only way you can lose is if you don't try.
Right.
Like, the only way my life will be a fuck up is if I'm somehow laying in bed being like, oh, I wish I could have. You know, I should have went to go drive with Joey in fucking St. Louis. You know what? I should have went to Wyoming afterwards instead of just going home.
Yeah.
No, I am going to Wyoming afterwards. Now I'm literally driving to Wyoming to stay for like fucking 3 hours and then driving 3,000 miles back.
The not doing it is the biggest regret.
That would be my biggest.
Failure is not the biggest regret.
Because I got a woman there, Cindy, who I love, and I'm driving literally 2,000 miles to hug Cindy.
Yeah.
And she's
3 hugs, baby.
Because she's this beautiful woman who came into my life, who has earned a place in my inner circle. That, and she's in her 70s, so I shouldn't say it, so it doesn't mean we'll be intimate. She's a beautiful woman, and if there was a 70-year-old that I'd be intimate with, it would be her. But it's like, no, fuck that. Like, I'm gonna drive. If nothing else, her and I can have this amazing meal. Maybe we'll do a DMT session, and then for the next 2,500 miles of me driving home, I'll be thinking, wow, that was awesome. As opposed to if I get home a day early, I'd be like, I don't know, like I'm fucking home.
It's all part of your journey, man. That you fucking that you're taking along the way, and you take a little piece of everybody with you, and you leave a little piece of yourself.
And every day, like, I don't even know. Most times I don't know, is it Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday? I don't even know what fucking month it is. Like, I go through so many time zones, I don't even really know what time it is ever. I eat when I'm hungry, I sleep when I'm tired, I drink when I'm thirsty, I fucking whatever. I whack off when I need to.
Right.
I mean, name it. It's like, just like you stop and refuel your car when needed, I listen to my body where I'm not on anybody else's schedule. I don't eat because, well, it's 6 o'clock, you should eat, the news is on. No, I'm not hungry. Why the fuck am I eating?
There's a Buddhist parable of the monk who he ate his bowl, and then he turned to the master like, what should I do next? And the master was like, wash your bowl. And then something clicked in him, and he was like, he got it all of a sudden, the whole notion of chop wood and carry water is still is not only just as important, it's the most important thing.
Right.
Yeah, but you're not doing it to get that water over here. You're carrying water and chopping wood because that's what life is in general, and you're here for that now. And it's not an obligation anymore. It's a privilege all of a sudden.
Well, like I started my life, as a young adolescent, not having career wealth or professional or whatever, all of the things where I went out and got all those things, so I'm chopping, carrying wood as a young adult. I leave the woods and the river. I go make all this money. I make all this shit. I own all these houses. I get all these titles. I do all that shit. And now at 46, what did I do? I went right back to owning nothing, to going back to really just, now I just walk around and hug and kiss and fucking hang out with people.
Right.
Like, I'm going back now to the most important thing I can do is chop wood and carry water, which to me that is walking through society, hugging strangers, complimenting strangers, hugging them, doing whatever, like sharing my message to people that want to lead it. But more importantly, like every sunset, I've woken up intentionally on a beach or some cool place. Every meal, like even I told you, I woke up this morning to try to get coffee, and I went to 2 different places. I spent 45 minutes driving around just to get a special coffee. And then you made me my special coffee.
Yeah.
But even it wasn't. I didn't get when I went to the first place and it was shut down, I wasn't pissed at all. I simply said, "Oh, what's the next one?" And when I went to that one, and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of odd."
The Hux wasn't open up there.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I avoided it because it was too fucking vanilla. I don't know. Like I was looking for like the foo. Like I want my Aztec coca with cinnamon and cayenne pepper.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I was looking for the foo shit.
Yeah.
But when I realized that, all right, so those two, then I said, I think I ended up, what was the one with the face there? Fucking, whatever. It's one of the local ones around here. And I was just like, all right, well then, what am I going to do? Am I going to get upset, stop around? And I just said, well, I guess this will be an opportunity for me to try one of these local.
Right.
And I did, and now I know, and whatever, no harm, no foul. It wasn't great, but it wasn't.
Right.
But it wasn't me coming home being like, oh,
Nah,
fuck, yeah.
Right.
I can't do a podcast if I don't have my fucking Aztec mocha.
Right.
Okay, dude. Like it's just.
That's like that Nick Swartzen joke about people who go see a movie like Transformers and they come home and they're like, fucking sucked. And he's like, and it's not like, yeah, I know the movie's stupid, whatever. He's like, you realize what somebody in the 1800s, their fucking reaction would have been to something that fucking profoundly visual. He's like, yeah, he's like, that's everyone's reaction to everything nowadays is fuck sucked. You know, it's like if their mind is not exponentially blown out of their heads, they're like, nah, sucked. And he's like, try to see that through the point of view of somebody who is a farmer from the 1600s or whatever. That would have haunted them. How good that movie would have haunted them for the rest of their life. You know, we're so used to it.
But well, we talked about my hypersexuality and how like whatever, like I'm really into. So I think about that too, where I'll make the connection. Think about like men right now. They're typically having sex with a woman that showered, clean, shaved, whatever, like clean butthole, clean, like all that type shit. Where it's like I think about 1,000 years ago when there wasn't necessarily soap and water, or there wasn't whatever. Or it's like, man. Like, and that's like every time I'm with a woman and I have clean, fresh smelling skin, and it's like and it's just like, this is what kings would have had, or especially you go to a hotel buffet and you've got 3 types of jelly, 2 types of juice, 3 types of bread, a couple different types of eggs. Like 500 years ago, the fucking king of England wouldn't have had that. There was no refrigeration. They didn't have fucking salmon from Alaska and then capers from whatever. Oh, and then fig spread from so and so, and then. You want orange juice, apple? Like the apple tree was fucking 2,000 miles away. We need apple juice. Right. But right now we just hit a button and you got apple juice.
It's crazy.
Do
we turn a knob and water comes out of a faucet?
Fresh potable water.
It's poisoned, but it comes out of the faucet for free. Not for free either, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. Right.
That's where we, as modern men and women, it would do us well, and it does me well. So I really think about that. About every time I have. So cran tropical. I mean, this has 4 different types of juices in it. That would have been the treat of a fucking king. That would have been an Egyptian pharaoh's treat that only the pharaoh got to fucking try. A blend of 4 fruit juices from around the world. The fuck, I got 3 of those in my car right now.
That's insane if you think about it.
But I think about everything like that. For me to have a knitted pair of shorts, to have rounded beads to make bracelets, to each one of these to be rounded perfectly with a drill hole with that would take you a year to make 22 of these beads. Where I just fucking you buy a pack of them.
Yeah, dude.
But don't ever, and I bring it back to the women where it's like I don't know, like I'll never. Every cup of coffee right now is, I embrace every sip, every smell, and that's why I'm so passionate about like intimacy and making love with women, and because it's like when you ask like tantric modalities and shit like that. How do you do it, or how do you last, or and it's just like because you're so present and so absorbed to be like, there's no place I'd rather be right now than whatever, eating the continental breakfast or being in between. So you're between silk sheets with a fucking down pillow with perfumes and incense and electricity light, and it's like you've got again. That would have been what the fucking most pimped out, like. Whatever fucking that red light district would have been, whatever. Right. That was reserved for the best of the best of the best. Right. When we all have it. Every consenting partner right now has the ability to go have sex in a warm, clean bed with a warm, clean partner that has clean teeth. It's that unreal. Fucking. It's you crazy. Know what I mean? Like, your breath smells like peppermint instead of fucking dog ass. Right. Oh. I don't know, but that's what people had to deal with fucking
Look
hundreds of years
what a
ago.
grocery store is. All the food is
Right.
laid out. It's quadruple the price it's supposed to be, but it's there.
You can show that to somebody a few hundred years ago.
Dude,
well, how do you keep it cold? What do you mean cold? How do you?
Right.
There's ice. There's what? Like
Right. It is insane how you ever think about. And maybe we'll end on this, but maybe if humans create our own problems because we ran out. It's like,
yeah, too spoiled,
dude. Yeah, there's a lot of issues if you flip on Instagram, and it haunts me. There's a lot of really evil shit going on because there's people deliberately doing evil to all of us right now, and it's rough, and it's been happening, but now we're all like waking up to it or whatever. So it's rough, but it's we don't have to have that happening, and you almost wonder if the reason we have the problems that we have and the disagreements and the drama and the troubles is because maybe we ran out of real problems, and now we have to create our own because we just refuse utopia. Right. Utopia doesn't work. I don't know.
No, well, and even me in my work, so like my inclination is to be like, well, lose it all, go live on the street and go fucking live like I did. Well, asshole Adam, when I did that, I was driving an Audi fucking S5, like a dream car. When I first went out on the road that year, I spent about 80 grand. I just pissed through all of my fucking savings, so. But I'm not presenting the story of like, woe is me. I lived on but try live. It's like, well, what about the fucking 8-year-old little boy whose parents died, who's raising his fucking 2 younger siblings, who's living in the fucking streets, who has nothing, let alone a car, let alone a like.
Right.
So what happens when the mosquitoes come out?
Right.
What happens when you get poison ivy? What happens when you get fucking chafage between your nutsack? You got no medicine. You got what happened? Like, and that's what I will never.
Right.
As much as low as I went, my lowest of low was still the best of the best. Like, and think about all the water and shit, and it's like, man, I will never, and I will, and it's not use that perspective to shine your light against the dark. It's just just from a real practical standpoint. How fucking lucky you are, and to know that. Comically, I think we do kind of like reincarnate, or we do have different souls, or we do have like, or not different souls, the same soul, but different kind of experiences. Where it's like, maybe we'll experience that in the future, or maybe we haven't yet because we've already done it. But we are all the fucking same. And if you don't feel the pain of that little 8-year-old who lost his parents and is raising the fucking kids, and if it doesn't crush you to the point where you're almost like, I don't know, like then not shame on you. It's like I feel bad for you.
Right.
I feel fucking bad for you.
Right.
That you can't empathize and sympathize because it's not going to make you cry to the point where you don't want to move and your inability for action. It's just the opposite. I want to help save every little fucking kid. I want to make sure every homeless guy has a place. I want to make sure every single mom isn't worried about fucking oil in her tank or if she needs new tires to drive in the winter because they're bald and if she crashes, everybody fucking dies. But at $125 a piece, she doesn't have $500. You know how many people don't have fucking $500 for new tires? But I mentioned how I worked on Martha's Vineyard where people have 3 or 4 or 5 $50 million houses.
Right.
So and that's where if we're gonna maybe end as some of the new shit. Something that I just did a couple months ago was found a nonprofit. It's called the LIFT Foundation, LIFT, standing for Lighting Inner Flames Together. The whole purpose and mission statement is very, very bullet pointed and succinct. To convert suicidal ideation into self-knowledge and self-love. Now, whatever, and I'm making it explicitly, open like that, because that's going to be different for anybody. For the single mom, it could be an oil tank and some fucking new tires. For the retired vet, maybe it is an I Will Gain retreat in a week somewhere else. To whoever, you can name it, but we don't need to hoard resources. There's enough of everything on this planet, of everything to go around. And if we can have that perspective shift, like on the microcosm that I had within myself, where I used to hate myself, I treated myself like shit, everybody around me like shit, I didn't see the value in myself or anything, to the switch where it's like, oh, everything has value and man, just appreciate it. If we can each do that as individuals, that will extend to our family, to our community, to our state, and then to society as a whole. And then it's not like, oh, now we can live in this like Ayn Rand utopian, everything's love and light bullshit. It's just we get out of our own way, We stop hoarding the shit we don't need to hoard, and then we work together. And I was actually thinking about that as I walked through the conference, the event the other day down the street, where it's like all these people are laughing, smiling, they're helping each other set up tents, they're helping to do shit, and it's like, and I actually went to the thought of people always ask like, well, how are the pyramids built, or how are some of these, and I don't want to get into that. I think it's like clearly there's some shit beyond fucking people, but it's like, well, no. If people work together, like what could humans do if they weren't fucking hoarding resources? What could humans do if they were like, hey, collectively, let's try to reach our best and brightest? I think we could build more than a stone pyramid. And I don't want to lessen with that. I believe
no, I know,
but it's like, no, we can ascend fucking cosmic dimensions.
Society
we can
be as perfect as
we can do some amazing things if we just realize that helping my neighbor actually helps me.
Yeah.
Giving to my neighbor will mean I receive more back.
Yeah.
But now this is where I want to not wrap it up, but I want to come back to, this isn't because Adam Butler is holier than not, enlightened, or that I'm just so well versed and so well read that it's because I got fucking crushed and grounded and spit, and then every time I came up for a breath, I was like, nope. So I'm only at this position because I was forced and ground into it. But what I'd like to share is that people don't need to get as low as I've gotten to have some of the same lessons that I've learned. And I've personally been able to share my experiences with others to nip that descent into the abyss where you can't get out, to just be like, hey, listen, let's I'm not trying to prevent anybody from going through their dark night of the soul. It's, let me help guide you through it. To your buffalo analogy, let's lean through the storm and get through it, and then be stronger on the other side. And yeah, like that is such an easy message for me to share. Not DMT, not psychedelics, not go to my retreat or fucking whatever. It's like just figure out a way to fucking and then we all thrive. Like
it's almost like DMT is a gateway drug to fucking world peace. And you've expanded from the one subject to
I think
the whole picture, the whole zoom out. And
that's where the common takeaway from a lot of people that do psychedelics is we're all one. It's all kind. We all came from the same source, and it's not woo kumbaya like they must be drugged up. It's like no, you really see what serves you better. So what serves you better? To be anxious, to be depressed, to be competitive, back and forth with everybody else around you, to be hoarding, to be nervous, or to just be like I don't know, to relieve. Like it serves you as a human better.
Right.
Then you're not on all these depressants and prescription pills and all this shit. You're actually just blissed out to be a human. And if and when you need help, you know you're not alone. And then the people that are helping you, they don't have an ulterior motive, and they're not doing it because of some other thing. They're doing it because they genuinely want to help you, because that's community, that's brother, sister, that's I love my neighbor. And why wouldn't you? Like, why wouldn't you hold the door for the old lady? Why wouldn't you fucking tell the kid that he's got a cool shirt? Why wouldn't you? I don't know. Like you see somebody struggling to put a piece of scrap metal in the back of that pickup truck. Pull over and help him put the fucking dishwasher in the back of the truck. Yeah. Why? Because if I was putting that dishwasher in the back of the truck, I would hope somebody would drive by and be like, man, I just need a hand.
It's almost just like the people who are not hoarding all of the money and resources need to make a breakaway civilization the same as these motherfuckers are, because they're leeching off of us to make their own breakaway civilization, and where it's like, well, that's because we're letting them. I think we need to create our own. So
I think one or two things, like truly like a speciation event, like you're saying, like where we become so different that we can't even fucking like intermingle anymore.
Right.
Or there's a blending where, there's a critical shift where enough people have this mentality, and enough people have the balls to have that bullshit filter to say, no, I'm not fucking. Let's call out the elephant in the room. Yeah. Like, and that's so many people are afraid to call out the elephant in the room or have the awkward conversation about everything and everything. Where, what do we, like you even said, you got to be careful what we talk about certain topics about religions or about what. It's just like, why? What if it's awkward? Then let's fucking talk about it. And if I say something that irks you, then why does it irk you? And let's get to the base root of it. Not, well, you must be wrong and stupid. How about
Yep. Straight up.
I don't know.
No, so this is fucking great chat. I think we came up on we're just past 2 hours now, man. But
so now we can go eat some Jamaican
tacos
and smoke some weed.
I'm gonna do a little 20-minute nap thing that I often do after long conversations. and maybe some breathing exercises, and then let's go up there, man. Let's go let's go enjoy the day, get some sunlight, talk to people, see some bookstores, eat some Jamaican tacos.
Yes, and there's homemade ice cream with it, and I don't want to leave it. There's homemade ice cream with it. The guy has it hooked up to an old John Deere motor in a wooden bin with a saltwater bath. And he's making homemade ice cream right there on site.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Right on, man. Well, thank you, Adam. I appreciate you, bro. And guys, subscribe to Adam Butler, visit him below and all that stuff. And if you're in St. Louis, come to Main Street, St. Charles.
Fuck yeah.
And we'll see you. All right, bye, guys.